everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of, a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture and nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me, per usual, are all of your other hosts. We got Alex, we got Brian, and we got Devin.
Full squad. We out here. Full squad. Four Musketeers. Reunited.
Tag team cage match.
Yeah, it's been a while since the four of us have been here. It's been a couple of weeks, so it's nice to be back.
Life has been crazy. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're in a bit of a time crunch, so should we jump into the first segment of the week, guys?
Let's do it.
News talk.
All right, before we continue, listeners, if you want to avoid spoilers or anything or skip to a section, check it all in the time codes. It's down on the bottom. It's all on there, yada, yada. With that, first news story of the week, we got our first teaser trailer for Thor, Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
I am very excited for this.
Well, I'm getting a ticket. I'm ready to go see it. When does this come out? I'm ready. Tomorrow.
July, I think July. I kept on seeing stories about like how it's like the shortest turnaround for
You know what?
a trailer.
My
to
baby's
movie.
going to be here in June, so I don't know when I'm going to ever see this movie.
Never mind.
But I am excited to watch it on Disney Plus. It'll probably take 6 hours to watch a 2-hour movie.
Right.
But I can't wait.
This comes out like the first week of July, I think July 8th. But yeah, like Devin was saying, it's the shortest span between first trailer and release.
Yeah, that's
in
pretty
all
crazy.
of Marvel since like the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton way back when or something.
I wonder why.
Oh, wow.
Like, what are they hiding? But I mean,
I'm
know.
assuming it's because of Doctor Strange. They don't want to step on its toes too much, so they're waiting.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
But anyways, I don't think it's a spoiler, but I guess if you've seen the trailer, it's in the trailer, so whatever. But I guess unless you don't know, then I guess skip ahead to the end of the section. But at the end of the trailer, you get your first look at Natalie Portman as the Mighty Thor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which we knew she was going to be in this, but we actually got to see her in costume with the hammer, and she looks dope.
She looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised.
very
I was
cool.
a little worried, to be honest. No hate to Natalie Portman, but I couldn't envision it. I couldn't see it.
Also, she bulked up.
Right. Maybe that's what makes her look better about it. But she looks, because I always thought of Natalie Portman as a very, pretty skinny woman.
She's pretty petite. Yeah.
So
I'm just really curious about how she reforged Mjolnir, but I guess I'm sure they'll get into that. But
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
When was the last time we saw the hammer? What was it? Did it break? I don't even
Hela
know.
broke it.
Yeah, in Ragnarok, Hela broke it on Earth, which is how I'm assuming Natalie
Hela.
Portman gets it. She broke it like on a random field on Earth, which I think became New Asgard.
Didn't they have it in the last Avengers movie?
Yeah, in Endgame, but he went back in time and got his original Mjolnir
Oh my gosh.
And then Steve
Yeah.
Rogers went back and gave
took
it back.
Oh my
Which,
brain.
they're not going to
Okay.
explain that, but
we're going to need to talk about this later.
Yeah.
In the timeline, it was broken by Hela, and then I guess
Mhm.
reforged by Jane Foster somehow. But
Yeah.
So which
But that's
hammer is
awesome.
this going to be? Is this the time travel hammer?
It looks like this is Mjolnir, like his original hammer, and she's somehow found a way to reforge it, or it's forged again
Wow.
because she was worthy or something, maybe. But yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
she's got the hammer. It looks like she is Thor.
Yeah.
She possesses the power of Thor.
So what's going to
Mhm.
happen to Dude Thor if Mighty Lady Thor is up in here?
I mean, he
Dude,
still
Thor.
has his axe hammer from Avengers.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's trying to find his place in the world in this trailer, and it looks like he doesn't want to be a superhero anymore.
man, Thor, he's been doing
can't
this
not
the
be a
whole
superhero,
damn
though.
MCU. Like, you are Thor. You're a big, strong guy. You're one of the
His
best
name's
Avengers.
Thor.
You beat
Hello.
people up. Like, you already know who you are. And he's like, oh, I got to find out who I... Like, what? We dealt with
You're
this.
Thor.
Every Thor movie, we deal with this.
Yeah, it's true.
Man, just
I'm
need some
excited
antidepressants,
for
to
it
be
though.
honest.
I'm excited for it, but it does.
I'm
No,
very
I'm excited
excited.
for it.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is curious. They do really want to make you see it. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
I'm not excited for it, guys.
Oh no! Really?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but maybe
Did you
I'm
like
listening.
Ragnarok?
I did, but it feels like more of that, and I don't know that the silliness approach is starting to
Not a fan?
It's starting to wear thin on me. I think it's been done too
Okay.
often at this point with Marvel stuff to kind of make it light like that. And that's
Yeah.
making me kind
That's
of
fair.
You want them to go darker or
not necessarily darker, just original Thor, that a lot of people hate original Thor, where he's more serious and kind of didn't have much
Yeah.
of a character. I think there's a middle ground you can find. Now he's just the silly dude, the bro, just broing. We're making a gay joke between me and Peter Quill, and it's like,
They're like leaning
okay.
into like, because Chris Hemsworth has like very good comedic like
He
instincts,
does.
and I feel like they're leaning into that because they discovered them with, I guess, Ragnarok, and like
Mhm.
so him with the Guardians will be good too. But I don't know. I feel like they're just, and especially when the director's I can't say
Taika
his name.
Waititi.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he that guy is all about like
He's hilarious.
what have they done?
Jojo Rabbit.
I mean, he did Ragnarok. He did Jojo Rabbit, like Devin said. He produced a lot of like TV shows and stuff. Yeah.
Exciting.
He's very funny dude.
I did love
Right.
Ragnarok.
It looks like, yeah, they're gonna give us
Yeah.
more of that. But the Guardians, we also see in this trailer, and I doubt they're gonna be in this movie for more than 20 minutes, I guess, before they piss off or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it looks like he's gonna leave them pretty
I'm
quick.
excited to see all of them. I love the Guardians.
But it's good because, like, I mean, I think they wrote themselves into that hole at the end of Endgame, and then they got James Gunn back, so they'll probably set up the next Guardians movie well, and also,
Yeah,
take
because
care
you
of
don't
that.
see Gamora, so clearly they're still on the look for
Right.
her at this point.
And they're also like gonna, like, I think they will like give us that fan service of like, because everybody after Endgame was like, oh my god, like let's just have Guardians team up with Thor for a movie. It looks like
Yeah.
they'll give us that for at least a little bit, and then have it be mostly about Thor.
Well, for one thing, you see Thor go through like a Rocky style montage where he's getting fit, so he's no longer going to be big Thor, which is sad, but also good for him.
Thick Thor. We love the thick Thor.
Yeah, and he's wearing like a Peter Quill style like Ravager outfit, so it's like he's a part of the crew at this point. Thor has a lot of costume changes. It seems at one point you see he's like a pirate Thor, and he's kissing some random blue-haired lady on a
I don't
ship.
know what's going on there.
Yeah.
He also has both of his eyes, both his normal eyes, I guess. He's got two blue
His
eyes, so
normal eyes.
something happened there. Probably he has like a contact lens or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
One of the other things we see is Valkyrie, played by Emma. No, it's not Emma. Something
don't know.
Thompson. She was basically Thor said, "You're the new queen or king of Asgard" at the end of Endgame. And she looks like she's dealing with a bunch of local government bullshit, which sucks.
That's about what you had to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's become like a tourist attraction, and she's having to deal with all the crap from all that. And it's like, that sucks.
I'm hoping she'll come into it somehow in the action-wise, but I'm sure she will if they've spent some time on her.
Yeah, I'm sure. You also see the back of Russell Crowe's Zeus. Looks like we're getting Marvel's Zeus in this movie.
Yeah, is that's mixing like lores? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Marvel has, much like how they have Thor and like their versions of the Norse gods. They also have versions of the
Greek gods.
The Greek gods, yeah. So we might see a Hercules in this. I don't know, but we're definitely going to see a Zeus.
I had
it looks
no
like.
idea.
And the reason for that is because of Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher, who we don't see in this trailer at all yet.
We know he's going to be the big villain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zeus bites the dust at some point.
That's like a aggressive name for like the God Butcher. Like not like he has such disregard for gods that he literally is just a butcher of them. Like,
is he cooking them up?
Yeah.
That's what fuels him.
Got some Zeus steak. So maybe he's gonna kill Zeus, and then Thor's gonna be like, "I'll be the new Greek god of thunder." Maybe that's his spiel.
There you go.
Maybe
Thor's identity crisis solved. I'm just gonna be in the Greek pantheon now. I was in the wrong mythology the whole time.
Yeah, I mean there is like a rumor, so I guess skip ahead to the end of this if you don't hear it, that we might see a Gore fight Bast, the Black Panther god that we alluded to in that movie. So we might see a fight between them at some point. I don't know.
Whoa.
Because Gore is going after all gods and any gods in this movie, apparently. So
that's not nice.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Also, the weird thing about Gore, and I doubt they're going to do this, is that his blade is it's like a venom. Like it comes from the planet of venoms created by the god of the symbiotes or something like that. Blah, blah, blah. But I doubt they're going to do that because like Sony and the rights to Spider-Man and everything, even though Venom is in the universe. So I doubt they'll do it still. It'd probably just be a big gooey blade.
Is it like Venom, like the Spider-Man Venom?
Yeah. And so I think since Marvel or Sony have the rights to the Spider-Man and Venom stuff, even though he's in the universe, he's kind of teetering at this point. I doubt they're going to do the Venom thing. So it'll probably just be a weird Marvel gooey blade or whatever.
This is getting crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited still, just because I'm excited to see how much more cosmic it can get. Basically,
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
looking forward to it. Next thing, let's go from Thor to Aquaman, because Jason Momoa might be starring in a Minecraft movie.
Starring.
What the actual fuck is happening here?
A headline that nobody needed to hear.
This is what I mean
What?
when I talk about corporate people just wanting all the money all the time for everything. There is literally no reason to make a goddamn Minecraft movie. And I know there's a TV show on Netflix. I'm sure it sucks. I don't care. And I know they just want to make a bunch of kids watch some stupid nonsense on the silver screen. I don't want to see
basically.
it. Why Jason
What
Momoa?
character is he? What is he gonna do? Is he gonna be the box man? The Joe the Minecrafter?
Yeah,
Jason
basically.
Momoa is starring as Minecraft. He is Minecraft.
He's gonna be walking around with his long hair, just picking rocks and stuff. That
Who
doesn't
knows,
seem
man?
right. Picking off the zombie creeps.
I used to think Jason Momoa was like a principled
Like,
guy.
there's no scenario that makes sense. I cannot see it. It does not
And are
compute.
they going to do blocky? They're gonna do
Right. Is it
blocky
going to look like
animation?
shit like on the screen? Because I don't want to watch that. Like,
Okay,
Probably,
maybe it's CG.
yeah.
Maybe it's CG and he's just voicing the person.
No,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I
absolutely.
would imagine
you thought he was
so.
going to be walking around in Minecraft world?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
And,
really
like,
did.
what story are you going to tell
That's a great question.
with Minecraft?
I mean, it's Minecraft. It's like you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's a build your own world.
Yeah, it's like
type of thing. So
Lego.
it's like, I mean, there's a Telltale like story based game, but they could do that. But they can literally do whatever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter.
This
Yeah.
this is making a little bit more sense to me, but I still don't like it. I really thought it was gonna be motherfucking Aquaman looking sexy, killing like block zombies. No, just a fucking gorgeous,
like,
handsome
just him?
dude. A semi-block
You thought it was gonna be like a
realistic
fucking-
world.
That's amazing.
Like it's
The
That's
only
actually
thing-
better. I like that idea more.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that. It'd be very much like a reverse Roger Rabbit, where he's like in an animated world.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I still don't like it. I like Jason Momoa, but like, come on, everybody.
This is just it's a
Yeah.
cash grab, easy.
Yeah,
Easy
it's
money.
like The Rock turned it down, and then
yeah.
Momoa was like,
That's
okay.
what it feels like. That's what
I
it
bet
feels
that's
like.
what happened.
Who else is kind of Polynesian? Who else is like from Samoa or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, him.
Oh, that's hilarious. Speaking of backlashes, or potential backlashes, all right, Brian, this is your segment, because Sega announced a new Sonic game.
It's remix
Origins.
remasters for old
Yeah,
games.
it's not new,
It's not a new game.
but it's new packaging for some old Sonic games, and fans are not happy about it.
Oh, really?
Brian, how do you feel?
It's fucking stupid. Doesn't make any sense. And we're not talking about the game itself. I'm perfectly fine with the remasters. I'm gonna buy them. That goes without saying. That's fine. But they're doing this weird DLC kind of thing / early access, depending on like what version that you buy. If you look at the chart, it makes no fucking sense. First of all, I don't know why they did this the way that they did.
That chart gave me a headache.
Yeah, there's certain things you're gonna only get if you pre-order it like early. Some things come from a DLC pack, and it's like dumb shit. So one of the things is you'll get anything that says you get the main game for this already feels suspicious when you talk about that, when you talk about gaming packs. Another thing is if you get the premium fun pack, you get hard missions, you get a letterbox background,
Ooh.
character animation in the main menu. You're paying money.
You gotta pay
so
for
that
that?
the character
That is
will move
atrocious.
in the main menu. First of all, who the fuck cares? Second of all, why do I have to pay money for it? What does that matter?
You got to pay money to get Sonic to dance for you in the main menu.
Character animations during music islands. What am I paying for? I'm paying for a letterbox background. What does that even mean? Just so I can have something else in the background because it's going to be 4x3? What the fuck is that?
They're like, we just have to throw in some microtransactions here somewhere. Like,
That's essentially all it
Quick.
is. And everyone's
wow.
just like, well, first of all, just put it in the normal game. Why there are even 2 versions of the game? Because you don't get anything new. And then second of all, what are these? Who wants this?
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
I'm looking at this article right now, and I just got a lot of questions. So
Yes.
how many different game versions of this game are there? Is it 2?
So some of it's free DLC if you pre-order the game or if you buy the deluxe edition. So it should have been the first thing first. It should have been put in 5 separate sections. I don't know. Whoever graphics person made this for Sega deserves to be fired. This makes no sense.
It's terrible.
So just say that some of these things are free DLC. What is a classic music pack? Why do you put the
not
classic
even a
music
new
pack
game.
on there as DLC when the only thing it adds is additional music tracks? Why did you add that whole row when that's all that changes? Like, just put an asterisk. You can get this when you buy the music pack. Like,
two of these columns only have one thing.
There's like one thing.
Wait, there's one thing that's 100 bonus coins. Isn't the whole point of the game to collect hundreds of
I don't
coins
even know what
every
that
level?
means. I couldn't even tell you what that means. I don't know if you just start with 100 coins every time you start playing the game. I don't know. I have no idea.
That equals one life, right?
I was gonna say it's like $1.
But if you get the start dash pack, you get it. You get 100 coins.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
I don't know.
That is the saddest thing. Because like Sega's been on a high, like with Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and so they're like, all right, guys, let's put out this game. We're rolling hot, and let's charge everyone for the dumbest shit you could imagine.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, little Jimmy's going to convince his parents to do that.
Brian's gonna get it.
That's the most disappointing thing about this is it's going to work.
He's like, Mom, I got to pre-order it and get the standard and get the starter pack and get the 300 bonus coins. Mom, I got to get all 4 copies.
They don't get me with that shit. I am going to get.
Brian is gonna get all 5 versions.
You see that one on the far left where there's only one coin with only one ring in there in the main game? That's what I'm gonna buy. Because the digital deluxe edition adds nothing that matters. Not a single thing on the digital deluxe edition is anything I care about or want. I don't care if Sonic is fucking breakdancing on the main screen. Why does that cost me money?
Brian, you should make this banner your Facebook timeline. Is that right? I don't know social media.
No, it's funny because it reminds me of just like, and it's kind of like the degradation of games. It's kind of upsets me a whole lot.
Cover photo. That's it.
Is it like for Sonic Forces, that game that came out for PS4, and that's where I got like this little guy from. I got that from Sonic Mania actually, where you know how usually like you turn to Super Sonic by getting all the Chaos Emeralds and getting 50 rings. That's how you turn to Super Sonic in most games, or it's part of the game. In Sonic Forces, it cost $2. If you wanted to be Super Sonic, you had to pay money.
What the fuck?
It was free for like a limited time, and then it cost you $2.
What in the fuck?
And that's like so very much like it resonates on what games are now and how they've changed.
Yeah.
It makes me so upset.
It's just like they almost like they had the regular game and they're like, all right, we're gonna put this out, and then some management executive or something was like, hey, how about we chop this up into pieces and then we take out the dumbest shit and charge people for it. Like I'm reading this and it's like you have to pay extra to get fucking mirror mode. Like that's like a normal staple in most games, like Mario Kart, whatever. But you got to pay extra for mirror mode. What?
And they claim that you can like unlock some of these things with just playing the game still, which is even more reason. Like, why do I care about getting it day one when I can just unlock it? Why am I going to pay money for that?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Right. It's
That's a botched idea.
that is just
Read the fine print, guys.
insanity.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Shameless.
Way to go, Sega. You did it again.
I'm not really surprised. But
Right,
man,
no.
that's funny.
Yeah. You don't let us
No.
down.
Not surprised, but disappointed.
Yeah. Well, Brian, you'll be the only one to let us know how that one goes. Next, news story. I don't know how much you guys were into Crazy Taxi or Jet Set Radio, but it looks
I
like
love some Crazy Taxi. You kidding?
I mean, yeah, Crazy Taxi was the shit, but it looks like we're getting some like big budget versions of these games, but also it looks like Sega is trying to make these like ongoing games or something.
Games as a little service, the worst thing to ever happen.
Like, what are you gonna have to pay for Crazy Taxi? Like extra fares?
you got gas?
Yeah, that'd be something. People
you gotta
claim
fill up.
that they want to make it potentially like a battle royale type of situation for both of them.
That's crazy.
It'll make sense for Crazy Taxi. I'm not really sure the way that would
Twisted
look with
Metal?
Jet Set Radio.
What is Jet Set Radio? So I remember Crazy Taxi is like an arcade game. It was on PlayStation 2. You pick up all these people and you're trying to get from point A to B and make as much money as you can.
You had to drop them off at Pizza Hut. Like they literally had promotion in the game.
Oh, word?
So Jet Set Radio is one of my personal favorite games of all time. We actually didn't end up talking about it because I forget about it pretty often because they didn't come out with many. There's one on Dreamcast and one came out on Xbox. But this game is amazing. It has one of the best soundtracks of like a la Tony Hawk 2. It was just like the music's fucking banger after banger. And you play as basically a graffiti artist on rollerblades and you're skating and doing tricks and running from the cops. And you basically just have to like, graffiti this stuff. And you're fighting different street gangs and stuff. and they're all like,
That sounds
these
cool.
crazy over the top anime looking characters. The game's amazing. I love the game, and I still play it to
Wow.
this day. I have it on PC. Actually, they ported it over, so I'd love to see that made again.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never actually touched it. I only ever had a Crazy
Yeah,
Taxi.
if you weren't a big Dreamcaster, you probably never heard of this.
Yeah.
Or Super
That's fair.
Japanese. That's the two. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would love to see a big rebooted Crazy Taxi.
Battle Royale Crazy Taxi sounds kind of cool, to be honest. Like fighting with friends, trying to fucking
Get the best times
pick
and
up
stuff.
as many people.
Oh my god, yeah.
That sounds crazy. Man, like physics are on, so you can run into each other and stuff. Like that seems like that could be kind of
Oh
wild.
no. Well, I mean, but the soundtrack has to be on point, though.
Right, that's the biggest thing. And licensing is probably going to be hard these days to get good music.
Yeah. I mean, because like I was saying, like they had like Pizza Hut and Popeyes and then whatever in their games. Like, so
Wow.
what are they gonna do now? They're probably gonna do like it's gonna have like a Uber tie-in or some shit.
Oh, of course. They're not going to be taxis anymore. It's going to be a dude in his fucking Nissan
Crazy
Altima.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that should be fun, but who knows? Sega's doing interesting things.
While we're at it, bring back Power Stone. Come on, man. Bring us more of those old games that we left.
Brian, no one knows what Power Stone is but you.
Fucking awesome, dude. It was one of the best fighting games you could possibly play. Super cool.
That was great. That is the end of the news. We did it, everyone. Shall we move on to our main topic of the week?
Yes.
Indeed.
Do it.
Let's do it.
But first, we're trapped in another fortress. This one is it's pretty compact size. It's pretty small.
We're on the go. We're moving around,
Yeah.
doing backflips.
We're walking through
It used
traffic.
to take a lot of batteries.
Yeah. Because we're in the fortress of
Handheld
Handheld
video
games.
games.
Games for your hands. Nintendo. They made a lot of those.
Yeah, it's basically the Nintendo episode.
Where they flourish, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're doing the handheld episode. Where we kind of did a similar thing a couple episodes back with the N64. But yeah, we're kind of just gonna look back at handheld console and everything. It kind of has to do with the Steam Deck that came out a couple months ago, or yeah.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, we've definitely come a long way. Yeah, that and the announcement of the Kingdom Hearts mobile game a couple weeks ago, where it just looks like a regular ass game almost. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
At least Xbox 360 PS3 quality. And that's
Yeah.
wild to me that
We
that's
have all come a long way since the old side scroller 2-bit games on and a tiny screen.
You guys remember those stupid games that were like basketball and it was like the 2-pixel?
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about those kind of
Oh,
things.
yeah.
But it's like it only plays
Right.
that one game.
Yep.
And when it dies, it's just dead forever. You can't play it anymore. I don't think you can play for battery with it or anything.
Oh my god, that was very much like a thing back then with like old Game Boy games where like eventually the internal battery would die and it would no longer be able to save or something. So like I remember old Pokemon games I would turn on and my save would just be wiped.
Ugh.
And then I would play and then save and then turn it off and come back to it and it'd be gone again.
Oh wow.
Incapable of
I did
saving.
not. That never happened to me. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Old school.
That's when you know it's truly dead.
Well, let's take it way back to the 1980.
Yeah.
Did you guys play the first? Apparently, one of the first handheld games, the Game and Watch.
My brother in Christ, I am only 30. So
I played
Game
no,
and
I
Watch
did
in
not
Smash.
I never even seen one, but
I
that's
only know
pretty
Game & Watch
exciting.
from Super Smash Brothers. I've never actually seen one in real life.
I do
Yeah.
like to imagine what that time would have been like when you'd have to like beg your parents for quarters and like hustle your way down to the arcade, and then you go from that to being able to play like literally anywhere. Only a couple of games, but that must have been really mind blowing.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm looking at the Game & Watch right now, and holy shit, this thing is ugly.
As most old consoles were, yes, they're very ugly.
It is just a straight square. It almost looks like a credit card. Like, what is?
They were
what is this
definitely
thing?
more function than fashion.
But yeah, this kind of like feels like those games that I was talking about, where it's just like it's basketball and it has like 3 frames, and one frame is the
Yeah.
ball going in the hole. The other 2 frames are you dribbling. That's it.
Classic
Basically.
stuff.
Yeah, the first console I like laid my hands on that I can remember, I think, was the original Game Boy. And it wasn't even mine.
Yeah, I didn't have the first Game Boy either. But I remember like going to some relative's house. They were always like a dusty old thing in like a closet, and they would pull it out and like, hey, maybe you'd have fun with this. And it's like, wow, what is this thing?
That thing was a brick, a
was
gray
a
brick with a
brick,
green screen. Why was the screen green?
The
I don't know.
ugliest green.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason why.
Yeah, I don't. Well, you look at like calculators, like old calculators, and they have like a green screen with like black text. So there must be some kind of technology reason for that. But I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. But that's a great question. But I found it surprising. I was doing a little bit of research before this, and I realized, the Game Boy was one of the most popular ones, of course. But everyone knows that the first Game Boy was not in color. It wasn't backlit. It has that ugly green screen. But apparently, the Atari had a handheld game console that came out before this, which was backlit and in color. The Atari Lynx. I never even heard of this before, but
I've heard of it. I just never touched it.
Yeah, pretty cool to know that they were so far ahead of the game. Like it wasn't until like 2000s, I think, that Game Boys were backlit. So,
I mean, yeah, that was back when Atari was king of games.
Makes sense.
I'm about to say.
So yeah,
I don't think Game Boy was even backlit at that point yet, because I know my Game Boy Advance wasn't. It wasn't until the SP that I believe they started backlighting.
SP and like sometime in the 2000s. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
You're right, because I remember my Game Boy Color. I bought like this cool purple snake light attached to the top of it.
Mine was like an alien arm.
It wasn't even that made the screen brighter. Just made it like have a glare on it. You had to like look at the right angle.
That shit was the worst, dude. I couldn't stand it. I lost a little piece on it that was supposed to like soften the light so that it wouldn't be just a giant light directly on the screen.
It's just a hard light.
Yeah, so I lost that. So it's a hard circle light in the middle of my fucking Pokemon game at all times. But hey, man, they let me play at the car rides at night, so it was enough for me. But circling back to the Game Boy and about like its success, which is interesting about it, because like you said, the Atari Lynx was honestly more of a marvel as far as like the way it was built and how it already had like backlighting and color and stuff like that.
Yeah, on paper, that's a better console, right?
Right, but we just hadn't gotten to a good space at power yet, because what we know now, like I charge my PlayStation controller constantly because I always leave it on because I'm a piece of shit. We had to use batteries back in the day to run these things, and batteries weren't as good back in the day as they are now, even still.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, Game Boy won because it actually lasted time. The issue was all the other systems wouldn't last very long because it just took so much fucking computing power or just like crazy large batteries in order to run the things. And then Game Boy actually had a life because it, I can play it for 10 hours as opposed to the 3 that I probably got out of these 2 AAA batteries.
That's a very good point. I know they were also smaller, so I bet it fit in a lot of kids' pockets a lot easier, which is probably a big deal.
Very true.
I mean, not that first Game Boy. That thing was literally the size of a brick.
You got those Jinko jeans.
It was big, but it had to be. It was definitely smaller than the Lynx. Those Lynx were like a brick, and they were like weird shaped. Those were like the same size of the Switch, but they were like curved as well. So
yeah.
Gross. What the fuck?
Yeah. So after the Lynx and the Game Boy, then Sega was like, oh well, we could jump into this mix. They came out with something to compete with everything. I think it was called the Game Gear. Put all their Sonic games on there.
Yeah, Sega Game Gear, dude. It was dope.
I mean, yeah, it was basically a Sonic machine.
I didn't play that one either.
I did play this one because my friend had it.
I was about to say, if anyone has played it, it would be Brian.
I've played all Sonic games that ever have come out, basically up to date at this point. So yes, I did play this, but I did have to borrow it from a friend because he had the Game Gear and then eventually the Nomad that came out afterwards.
Yeah, this Nomad thing sounds pretty cool. You could play like regular console-based like Sega games on this, right?
Yeah, it just like it was pretty big and pretty chunky, and then there's just that little spot in the back that you just fucking click it in like a normal system. It was not ergonomically good anything.
Could you imagine someone playing this on a bus right now? It's just
no.
I think it would be dope. I don't want to talk to that person.
It's just this giant chunk of a machine.
They just take it out of their backpack and slap it on their lap.
There's nothing else in their backpack because nothing else fits in it.
So get this. So this is why you had to be a rich ass bitch in order to play the Sega Nomad. So the amount of batteries it took, and this is in 1995, it took 6 AA batteries. And how much time did that get you to play?
4 hours.
2 to 3 hours.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, burning through some fucking Duracell as if your life depended on it.
Could you even plug it into a wall if you wanted to?
Hell no.
I don't think so.
That's fucking hilarious to me.
People should have bought Duracell and Energizer Bunny stock right then and there.
I'm telling you, man, 8
gosh.
hours of play is like a job. Like you just spent like 3 hours of McDonald's money of minimum wage to play that fucking game.
You gotta imagine the parents being like, little Billy, you just took the batteries out of the
Right.
remote controller 2 days ago. Now they're dead again.
There's
Not
no
even 2 days
batteries
ago.
in any
Not even 2 days ago.
controllers in the
3 hours
house.
ago. Like he's taken all the controllers, all the batteries out of all the controllers every 3 hours.
I know he had to be fiending for some batteries trying to play that shit too. And it's funny because
Damn, that's
I mean,
crazy.
it's like basically the equivalent of like quarters at an arcade, like the amount of quarters you would spend there. It's just like crazy.
it goes
Yeah.
up quick.
Just a brand new hustle.
And we used to play that shit at home. We could just plug in the Sega Genesis. We were just dumb idiot kids. Like we didn't go anywhere with it.
No.
It's too heavy.
Right, you literally can't, man. I could barely pick this shit up.
Wow. So it seemed like they weren't really going anywhere until Game Boy comes back with, I think they had the Game Boy Pocket, and then shortly after they had the Game Boy Color, which was like blew the market apart. And then right after that launches in 1998 is when the first Pokemon comes out, takes the world by storm.
I mean, yeah, like that was my shit.
Oh
was
yeah,
Pokemon
that's
Red.
what started it all for me right there.
Were you a red kid or a blue kid?
I was a red kid.
I was blue version, bro.
I was blue for
I
sure.
was all about that giant dinosaur on the cover, man. Charizard. Yeah.
Nah, dude, Blastoise, man.
Blastoise was the shit, dude. He's a fucking tank and a turtle.
As long as we can all be certain that no one wants to pick Venusaur.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Venusaur.
Yeah, I get it. He's the best for the first 3 gyms, whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter.
Do you guys?
He's
Oh my
stupid.
god! It just made me think of a funny story. I remember one year for Christmas, I asked for probably the most ridiculous thing I ever asked because I didn't know if it was actually real or not. But do you guys remember that there was, or hear that there was a Pokemon Green version that was in Japanese?
Yes, so that is actually true. That is confirmed.
Oh, thank God!
So it was
I
red
wasn't
and
crazy.
green.
Is it
Japan.
only in Japan?
Yeah, it was red and green in Japan, and it was red and blue.
I
in
literally
America.
asked for that for Christmas when I was probably like 4 years old. I want the Japanese green version of
Oh
Pokemon.
my gosh.
I wouldn't be able to play that shit.
Ain't gonna be able to read shit.
I never really thought about that. I could have sworn I seen some green versions as a kid, but I guarantee there were not any green versions around.
I'm glad Venusaur got some love.
Yeah, no, that was how it was released in Japan, and that's why they did Fire Red and Leaf Green when they re-released it on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
That's
Which
why they did
also
that.
were great games. Those were dope.
Yeah. Story time about how I acquired a Game Boy Color for maybe 1 week. Because
Oh no.
as we know, I grew up pretty poor, so we didn't have a lot of systems. So a lot of my systems were either given to me by family or family friends, or borrowed from other kids that had the stuff. And this was, of course, Pokemon cards were really big when Game Boy Colors were also really big. And I had a ton of them bitches. I was hustling for some Pokemon cards. My collection, bar none.
Yeah.
Probably could have been a millionaire if my parents didn't hate me and gave all my cards to some little shit ass kid at a yard sale.
It happens to us all.
Anyway, we were trading some Pokemon cards, and one of my good friends, my best friend from down the street, his little brother, he had a little Game Boy Color. It's purple. It was awesome.
Oh, the see-through joint?
Yeah.
He had a see-through one.
My sister had the purple one.
And we were trading Pokemon cards, and he was like, I got a deal for you, man. Or I said that because I'm a piece of shit and a hustler. I was like, I got a deal for you, man. I will give you 200 Pokemon cards for Game Boy Color. They were all like shit cards. It was like Weedles and other just a random circle cards. Fucking awful. The worst trade ever.
You got 87
I make him an
counterpiece.
offer he can't refuse.
Right. This is like $200 system. And he's like, yep, absolutely. 100%. Done deal. Give me the cards, bro. I gave this man all these shit ass
Wait,
cards.
you said 200 cards for one Game Boy? Pfft, you're an idiot.
Hell
That's a
yeah.
deal.
This man thought that he just got the best deal of his life. It's good. I gave you $3 worth of cards, man. Come on. So I go home. First thing I do is I sit in my bed, put my fucking headphones in, and I'm just gaming.
Feel accomplished as
I'm
fuck.
like, man, I got me a fucking Game Boy. Let's go. I'm playing Donkey Kong. I'm playing fucking Pokemon. A week later, I get a call from his parents. So I hear, like, talking to my mom, I hear that our son may have given your son his Game Boy. It's really expensive, so I think, like, can he get it back? And of course, my mom was like, boy, what the fuck did you do? You stole that little kid's Game Boy. And I'm like, no, Mom, we had a deal.
It was a fair
It was
trade.
a fair trade. I'm sorry that he doesn't understand the way economics works. That's not my problem.
He didn't ask to check the Pokemon cards. He just heard 200 and said, deal.
I said, yeah. He didn't even regret his decision. At no point he didn't regret his decision, but his mom found out. So I had to give the Game Boy back. I don't even think I got my Pokemon cards back. So I lost my Pokemon cards. I lost the Game Boy. It was just worst
Well, I
trade
hope
deal
you
ever,
learned your
bro.
lesson, Brian.
Basically, I
Yeah, I
basically
think
went
karma
bankrupt. My company, my stocks are plummeting right now, dude. This sucks.
Damn, it's hard out here.
But that 1 week, boy, I deleted that man's Pokemon save so fast and made my own. Because he gave me games too. Like that was the best part about it. He gave me the games, the system.
Wow.
Oh
Gave
man,
me $300 worth of merchandise.
that might be the greatest hustle in the world.
It's so awful, dude.
That's
I
wild.
hope he's doing okay.
That's pretty dope.
He probably tells that story very differently.
Right?
This really scary guy named Brian just tricked
It
me
was
into
sad because he was like pretty much younger
He
than
stole
us.
my Game Boy. He stabbed me. He left me for dead on the playground.
And then he just throws a bunch of Pokemon cards at me.
Oh god, dude! Take the Pokemon cards. Took both of his
Oh,
shoes.
that's amazing.
Threw him over the fucking line, the telephone line.
Oh, yeah. Good old Game Boy Color.
Well, I mean, yeah, like one of the other things for me, at least that's synonymous with the Game Boy Color is the Game Shark. Because I remember getting
man.
a Mew for the first time that didn't actually exist in Pokemon. Was
Remember
yeah, it was
cheating?
great. Yeah, yeah. It's like one of my neighbors had it. And he's like, "Hey, yo, you want Mew?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I want Mew."
That's
So
awesome.
it was awesome.
I never got around to the Game Shark. I'm not big on cheating unless it's Grand Theft Auto, but I know a lot of my friends always had the Game Shark and they would like trade it, and I was always like, nah, I'll find him on my own.
I walked the straight and narrow. Look at this guy.
Never found the motherfucker.
Yeah, it was that, and I was trading. Do you guys remember
yeah,
having like
the
the,
link
cable?
the link cable?
Yep. And
Yeah.
always detached when you're about to make the
Yes.
trade. Oh man.
Terrifying.
Terrible system, but I loved it to death.
And battling.
Battling. Yes, I forgot.
That was
I
like
remember
one
battling
of the
cousins and
few
stuff.
games that multiplayer was like a thing. There weren't many
Yeah.
other games that you could do that.
Right. I mean, especially with it's a handheld system. Like we know multiplayer is like, the N64 and
Right,
stuff like
right.
that. PlayStation 1 was like some of the first things that had, I mean, all of them had Sega and all that stuff. But to be able to do it was like, I have a Game Boy, you have a Game Boy. You want to battle? And you don't just do it. You have to fucking link in the little cables and it's real fucking awkward. You can't stand too far away from each other. But it was super cool because it was really innovative. And I think Nintendo is really good at doing innovation when it came to even their handheld systems. They didn't always hit the mark, but I did think they hit it with that one.
Yeah, that was huge for sure.
Real quick, I just wanted to go back to the original Game Boy because we can't not talk about Tetris.
That is true.
I remember playing that game like a motherfucker on my cousin's OG Game Boy
Wow.
because I'm pretty sure that's the only game he had. But yeah, but the fact that that game has basically lasted an eternity, and like they
I
keep
still play
like
Tetris.
Nintendo just came
To this
out,
day.
or not just came out, came out with the
Yeah.
Battle Royale
Right.
version of it, and it's just like just reinventing ways to play Tetris forever.
We had Tetris Battle on fucking Facebook or
Yeah.
some shit. Remember that in college? That was a weird 2010
That was the
time.
jam.
That we were just up
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. playing fucking Tetris Battle.
Good times.
I mean, it turned into a phone game shortly after that. That's how like popular Tetris became, and that's another handheld system, quote unquote. Fucking phone games.
True.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about mobile games because I got a lot of mobile
Well,
games to talk
speaking
about.
of mobile games, I think the next like huge craze in handheld gamings was when the flip phones came out, and I don't know if you guys remember the best flip phone game on
Snake.
there, Snake, motherfucking Snake.
Snake, man.
No solid
yeah.
Snake. We're talking just eat some fucking apples, Snake, and don't crash into the wall.
Honestly, my high score was ridiculous in that game because I had my first phone wasn't even a flip phone. It was some Nokia brick nonsense that I'm pretty sure is indestructible and could also kill somebody if you hit them with it.
Well, was it the Nokia Engage?
No, it wasn't. We hadn't gotten to that yet. This was just
Okay.
a straight up just Nokia brick phone. It was white, and you had like you could change the covers on it. And I think I had a blue one. You could just click that shit on top of it. It was ugly
wow.
and huge.
Yeah, it was always about the customization of the colors with the old
I
I
phones.
remember that. Yeah.
It was disgusting, but it had those 4 stupid buttons to like navigate the 3 menu thing. Because all the
Damn.
menus were really awful too, and Snake was one of those. And I would,
That's cool.
man, I get bored, hit up some Snake Boy on the
I
bus
had to borrow my parents' phones for the longest time to play some Snake.
to play Snake.
Yeah,
I think
me
they
too.
I think they had Tetris on their phones too, but yeah, I think one of their phones actually called it Ribbon because it was like
Off brand.
Was
I don't
Snake trademark?
yeah, Snake was trademarked. I guess they called it Ribbon.
Yeah, it was a Nokia 3310.
Wow,
And
that's
that thing is
hilarious.
hideous.
Yeah, Snake was like a fucking dope ass like time waster of a game, man. I didn't completely forgot about that until you mentioned it. Just
It's
now.
still a legend. Still a legend. I think I played it. There's like the TV Roku. Roku has a couple of like really stupid video games on there like standard. If you dig around there, you can find them. But one of them is Snake, which is still fun, still a
That's
blast.
hilarious. Just speaking of old phones, I remember when I got my first cell phone, I was probably like 13 or something. And I remember not knowing how phones worked. So I was just on the internet. I don't even know what I was doing. But
God.
next month.
Oh, no, that bill, dude.
Next month, my mom was like, "What the fuck did you do?"
It's $1,000 fucking dollars.
What did you do? If I had to guess, her phone bill was probably like $300 for me.
And it's funny because it was like the internet back then was so funny on those kind of mobile
So
devices. It was to get
slow.
on like the worst version of Facebook.com or MySpace you've ever seen before in your life. You can only click on 2 fucking links. It's like 8 years to load. And you're like, hell
It's
yeah,
like
bro,
that
we're in the
in Google.
future.
You gotta be real patient to do anything.
Yeah.
Well, there was no 3G, 4G. You had 1G.
No.
There's no Gs.
There's just G.
You're on A. You're on the letter A. You're not on G yet.
Man, that's dedication.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's so funny.
Well, speaking of and Nokia, I remember they had a couple different phone game console hybrids. I think the N-Gage was one of the popular ones. It was like a
Popular is a strong word.
well, yeah, quote unquote popular. I remember the marketing and being excited. I really wanted this, but I never got one. But it was like a horizontal shaped screen, and they had like really big games on there. Like Tomb Raider was a launch video game, Crash Bandicoot, one of the Tony
Crazy.
Hawks.
Sonic was on there.
You could play, of course,
Of course.
Sonic was on there.
You know, I know where Sonic ever came out.
Of course, you would know Sonic was
but
on.
these are pretty huge games that weren't on other consoles at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a lot of potential. I had a friend that he was a little bit older than me, so he had a job at this point when the Engage came out, I'm pretty sure. So he could afford stuff like this, and he was a big tech guy, so he'd love to get all the new tech. So we'd get on the bus, and this man brings out his fucking Nokia Engage, which was surprisingly small. It's like a little bit smaller than like an iPhone, honestly.
Okay.
So the screen was pretty tiny, but like it was very clear in clarity. It was kind of, I don't know, it's kind of late Game Boy-ish, early, I guess, PSP kind of feeling games were a lot of them. Like so some 2D. I think there was a little bit of 3D on there as well.
I mean, we used to play games on like iPods or like Nanos. Like, do you guys remember the iPod Nano?
Of
Oh,
course.
With
yeah.
the screen is like the size of your thumb. Like we would still play games on
There were
it.
some rhythm-based games on there, I remember.
Yeah.
I just remember Breakout.
Oh yeah, the brick ball or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, just like the fact of like how far we've come, where we used to be like, yeah, this thumb size screen is enough for me.
Right. But yeah, just the thing that really sucked with the N-Gage, other than like I'm pretty sure you had to pay for like a plan of actually having a phone or shit like that, unless you just want the system part of it. Just the controls sucked.
There's a lot of weird buttons.
Yeah, use the same controls as basically just a phone keypad. I don't know if it even came with anything other than the phone keypad itself.
Jeez.
Because like the 7 would also double as like,
Right.
Yeah, this
like
thing
the
is
down
hideous,
arrow or
dude.
something.
Sounds clunky.
I just looked. Also, I don't know why the screen is 3x4 instead of 4x3. It's like vertical.
Oh, interesting.
I don't remember that.
I think Zack Snyder designed it.
So like side-scrolling games had to be atrocious in
Yeah.
that kind
Interesting.
of situation. But look at this dude's playing a fucking car game. This is awesome. It's in 3D. But yeah, that shit it was not fun. And also the battery was not very good either.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, in other news, going back to good old Nintendo trying to change the game yet again. I'm not sure what year this came out, but there was the Game Boy Advance. This one really changed the game for me.
This was a big one.
Then eventually the SP, which was all the same games, but somehow way fucking better because it's finally backlit. It's rechargeable. There's a flip screen, which is super freaking
You
cool.
can finally protect
I
your
don't
screen.
know why that flip screen was so cool, but it was dope.
Yeah. The SP might be my favorite out of all those Game Boys.
Yeah, easily.
Second to maybe DS and the Advance.
I mean, it was the most usable. Like it was the most like friendly to like take around and stuff because you could just when you flip it, it's just a little square, like a box, like a wallet almost that you can just stick in your pocket.
Yeah, I remember. I had those when I was a kid, but they were great, and they kind of made a comeback in my high school. Me and a bunch of my friends just like, you know what? Like it was. I think it was like senior year when classes weren't really that. There wasn't much going on. Study hall was super big, so we were like, we're just gonna bring some of our SPs back and start playing some Pokemon.
Yeah.
Play some Mario.
That is one thing that I noticed when I was looking back at handhelds. It's basically just Nintendo re-releasing the same shit for like 3 decades.
They're still doing it. They're
Yes.
still releasing
They're
Mario.
still
They're still
doing
making
it.
Pokemon.
And it's like, it's that, and then like the putting whatever console it's on at the end of the name. So like Mario Kart Advance or some shit.
That's so fucking true.
You know?
Yeah.
And they're still doing it. It's like there's like Super Mario Brothers
Every
Wii.
game had advanced in the title.
And it's so confusing on like where those land in timelines because the way they do that. Mario Kart 64. I mean, they've always done that. They're just lazy.
Yeah, they're just like,
They don't like
fuck
to
it.
think of names.
Is this the 64th Mario? I don't.
Right. It makes no sense. But it's just like, oh, so funny. But like, this is also like the SP and the advances, they're kind of hitting their stride. And like, do you guys remember like this was like the peak of ported games that were always just like way worse than the actual console versions of those games?
Oh, what do you
Port
mean?
it's a weird because port's like a weird thing. So they have like I'm trying to think of a game specifically. It'd be like Crash Bandicoot was one that I had, and it's supposed to be based on Crash Bandicoot 3.
But it's nothing like it at all.
But of course, it's a 2D side scroller because it's a
Oh, interesting.
You know,
is that even a port then? That's just like a
No, but
remake?
it's like they'll brand it as like the same game. Like do you remember those like Lord of the Rings, like the Two Towers games and stuff? They're like those beat 'em
yeah,
ups.
totally.
It's like that, but it's not the same thing at all on a
but
Game
it's the
Boy.
exact same game marketing, but
Same
a totally
title,
different
same
thing.
game. Yeah,
That's
like
so true. Yep.
that was like the peak of that shit.
I remember I didn't have like a PlayStation 2 at that point, but Spider-Man came out. And
Yeah.
that game looked amazing. So I was like, well, I'll just get it on Game Boy. It'll be the same thing. It was not the same.
just get it on Game Boy.
I
Man,
just
being
say-
a kid sucks, dude.
I was so sad. I remember the first Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, which is an
Oh, yeah.
amazing game on console. And I remember all the kids, it was middle school or something, and all the kids were talking about, this Prince of Persia game's awesome. And I got it for Game Boy. That game fucking sucks. It is
I think on Game Boy it's more or less like the original like
Yeah.
arcade game. I don't know what console that came on, but it was like very very basic 2D.
And also, they're like hard. They're like really
that's a really
Mhm.
'Cause they're on
notoriously hard
platforms.
game.
Yeah.
The original, not the Sands of Time or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I love all those like movie tie-in games that were all just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
goofy, you know. Also, this was where, other than Nintendo being like the king of handhelds, I'm pretty sure Kingdom Hearts has hit every single handheld console, no matter what it is. And this is where it started with Kingdom Hearts
Chain of
Chain of
Memories.
Yeah.
Memories.
I remember I played
Oh,
that.
God.
I got to the last boss, and this whole game was so weird because I didn't really know. This was in a time period where there wasn't like a lot of information online or TV,
Yeah.
so you just kind of got a game on a whim and had to figure it out. And didn't know what it was about, so I didn't really know it was like a card game per se or anything. I thought it was just like I thought it was more Kingdom Hearts.
The card system is
It
atrocious.
didn't make any fucking sense.
I still never got past Ursula. I'm still fighting her to this
Listen,
day.
I got to the last. I was really good at this game. I got to the last motherfucking boss, and I straight just run out of cards. All I have
Yep.
left,
Mhm.
all I have left is healing potions. So I'm just healing myself forever. And this guy's got like a tiny bit of health, but I got no more
Yep.
damage cards. So
Yep,
I
you're
never
fucked.
beat him.
You're trapped.
I never beat him. I always wonder to this day. I still wonder if he's one of those bosses where you're supposed to die, and then you fight him again. But I always just turn it
Right.
off because I'm fighting him for 30 minutes and
No,
just
it's
healing
terrible.
myself over and over.
Well, I replayed it on PS4, and I can assure you that no, that is
Damn
not
it.
what happens. You can-
Damn
sorry to
Okay.
You
burst your
shattered
bubble
his
there.
dreams, Brian.
Well, at least I know that I was doing my best. You know, I didn't do anything wrong.
No, replaying it as an adult made me learn that as a kid, I fucking sucked at this game.
Oh,
I didn't know
yeah,
what
I'm
I was
sure.
doing because I was basically just cheesing it and playing it like a beat 'em up.
They do
not
a
caring about cards
terrible
at all.
job of explaining it to you.
Yeah, it takes a little more thought than I was ready for at that age, for sure.
I feel like it could be kind of deep if I were to replay it. Did you enjoy it, or was it just kind of silly?
I don't like it personally.
Did you
I would just
play
prefer them just to make
the
it
remake, like the new?
the PS4 remake. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's
So
like
it's
an
in all
actual like,
3D and stuff.
game.
Right. That makes it much better. I
Interesting.
will recommend. I know we're going on the side a little bit with Kingdom Hearts, but I would recommend if you're going to play it anyway, play it that way because Jesus fucking Christ.
I really
Right.
wanted to beat it because I remember if you beat it, you could replay it again, but as Riku and like go through his
Yeah.
storyline.
Mhm.
Never fucking made it though.
Nope.
Yeah, no, that game's not very fun.
Yeah. So what's after the Advance? It's the DS, right?
Yep. Then the DS comes out with
Yep.
2 screens. One of them is a touch screen, which I never had. I never really got, but I remember it looked really cool when I was younger, but I never got
I
one.
had a DS, but that was like the last handheld I ever got. and I didn't even really have that many games for it. And I'm pretty sure I like never touched the stylus except for whatever Pokemon game. I think it was Pokemon Pearl was on there. And that was like the last Pokemon I ever got, and that included the stylus a little bit. But other than that, like I barely touched that stylus, and I barely touched that console.
Yeah.
This is where Nintendo's innovation is not always a win, because I think the stylus is one of the stupidest fucking things to ever exist. At least I did, until they started making dumber stuff somehow. But this one I thought was just a straight fucking lose. It was a loss. For
do think it was a smart way to make it like a pause menu or a map menu. I feel like Sony is kind of doing a similar thing with their touch bar. They don't really utilize the bar too much in a lot of their first party games as like a touch screen, but the way you can kind of just click it to go to the map really quickly is kind of reminds me of the way the DS worked.
Oh, it was dope for Legend of Zelda. That's about where that began and ended.
Yeah, I really wanted to get it just to play Zelda on. I think that was on the 3DS. So let's talk about how many fucking DS consoles there were. There's the DS.
Okay, yeah.
Then they had the DS Lite, the DSi with a camera. I didn't even know this was a thing. Then the DSiSL. What do all those acronyms mean? and then the 3DS, Nintendo DS, 3DS. I don't know.
I think they also had a 2DS
DSLs.
after the 3DS at some point.
That's too much.
Yep,
that's too much, guys.
And it was the ugliest thing on earth. It was like a wedge that looked like you can use it to prop open your door.
You couldn't
really
close it at all? Like, it was this weird, like, tablet thing?
Yeah, it was like a tablet, but it was thick on one side and then tapered at the end. And I don't know why they thought that was a good
Wait,
idea.
so they had the 2DS
slab.
after the 3DS? How did they go backwards?
Yeah, I think they made like a cheaper version, almost like an Xbox.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was like peak Nintendo. Just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Doing all the things.
I mean, because they make a ton of money from their
Wow.
handheld sales. So why not exploit it to the highest extent? Yeah, this thing is the ugliest thing I've ever seen before in my life, the 2DS. I don't know why it ever existed.
Like a
I hate
door
it.
wedge.
I don't know
That's
why
funny.
it's a slab.
Yeah. I mean, I don't honestly remember if that was like when 3D was like the cool thing to do. But like, I wish I had seen one, because from what I heard,
I've
like
seen
the
it in
3D
real
was
life.
actually really cool.
It does work in their console. I haven't played it for more than a few minutes, but the 3D aspect does kind of work. It just kind of adds like a layer of depth.
Because you could also like turn it on and off, couldn't you?
Yeah, you can toggle it off and on, which is also very trippy. It feels like a magic trick, honestly. I don't understand how it works. It's a lot of voodoo.
It was interesting. The biggest criticism I heard is, like you said, like you hadn't played it for more than a few minutes, is long play would affect your eyes.
You would just vomit and die.
I could totally see that. It was pretty bizarre.
People were reporting like headaches and stuff from it, especially because like third-party games, like first-party games did it really well, but third-party games kind of cheesed it. And it's kind of like when I don't know if you watch like a lot of 3D movies. Some movies just aren't made for 3D, but they put them in 3D anyway. It makes you sick. It felt kind of like
shot
that.
in a 3D camera, it looks great, but if not, you're gonna get sick.
Exactly, right. It just feels blurry and gross.
I feel like maybe the biggest 3D or quote unquote 3D game that came out was that Ocarina of Time remake. I feel like I saw a lot of ads to that, and that was the only one that I heard that implemented the 3D well.
Oh, interesting. I wonder how. I mean, it's a gorgeous game, so maybe it just like looks visually really great.
Yeah, basically.
Which was the one that you can like blow it and stuff, and that was something that you had to do for certain.
I think it was that
3DS
one.
Or they do the D. Yeah,
that's crazy.
To play the like blow into like the microphone or something.
Because there was a microphone. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so freaking cool.
So that was the thing where it's like, this is handheld, but I don't want to use it in public because I'm going to look like a fucking idiot. Like, imagine being on the bus, you're a grown ass man, like going to work, and you're in your business suit, and you're like.
Oh, sorry, guys. It's raining. I gotta call the Sun songs. So just give me a second.
Yeah.
Epona.
Nintendo loves. If there's one thing they love to do, it's embarrass you.
Yeah, I mean they're all about innovation, no matter how embarrassing it is.
Great.
I mean, just like look at the Wiimote.
It's so embarrassing, dude. So many games made you jack off. It was,
the amount of televisions Nintendo has broken.
Right, yeah. From Wii bowling or baseball.
God, I miss those videos.
Yeah.
So in the midst of all this DS nonsense, PlayStation is trying to keep up, and they come out with the PlayStation Portable PSP.
Portable.
Yeah, in 2004.
I wanted this so
this was pretty
man.
cool. I never got one. Pretty cool. But they had like really stellar graphics. This looks like PlayStation 2 360 graphics. Is PlayStation 2 is 360
No,
and
it's PS2 and regular 360.
Oh wow, yep.
A regular Xbox. It was just Xbox in the
Right.
beginning. Come
Yeah,
on,
you're
guys.
right.
Oh,
You
right.
got me.
First Xbox.
You got me. You got me.
Y'all don't remember that fucking tank? Come on.
So this looks like those games, and you can play movies on it. So
Oh
this,
my god, that's right. Holy
Yeah, I
shit.
forgot
this
about that.
seems like the best option out there, but somehow I feel like it just didn't quite do that well. It was really expensive at the time. They didn't have like enough games, it seemed like.
I think it's also like, because, well, at least from my perspective, like if I'm going to play a AAA game like that, I don't want to play on the go, you know? I think Nintendo like gets that market because like their games are like platformers and side scrollers, and so like I don't really need to pay attention to like what's
You can pick it up
happening,
and
and
put
I
it
can just
down.
like get through yeah.
But imagine playing like Last of Us.
I don't want to play that on the bus.
that tiny screen.
You
Yeah, on
know?
the bus. I think you could plug headphones into it. I remember because once that same
Yeah.
friend that had the N-Gage also had this, and that's how I got to see most of it. It was like we were trying to watch a movie on the fucking bus, and we were watching Lord of the Rings, and it's like loud as shit on the bus. Kids are crazy. I can't focus on the movie. Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, like Brian, like I always wanted one, but it's just like I had a PS2 at the time, and so it was always like that's good enough. So it's like for me, it was like always like PS2 at home and then Game Boy on the go.
Totally.
I think at that point I'd stop even getting like any mobile consoles or handheld consoles at all after Game Boy Advance. So like all this stuff at this point came and went for me because I don't go anywhere enough to want to play video games while going somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wasn't in the market anymore. I'm not a child. I have to drive my own car.
People on the go, like living in the city or commuting, like I feel like if I were an adult at this time living in New York City, I would probably get a PlayStation Portable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like killer games on there. Like they had like full-fledged like God of War games on there, like Chain of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta.
Oh, very true, very true.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto was on there. Yeah, we'll get to the Vita eventually, but they had like an Uncharted on there. But I love this personally, but that's because I loved PlayStation at the time. Now, do you guys remember the Resistance franchise? It was kind of
Oh,
like their
yeah.
like Halo / Call of Duty PlayStation competitor.
Yeah.
I honestly love that franchise. I thought the first one was pretty good. It was a PS3 launch title, and they had their own PSP spinoff as well. That was actually like pretty good from what I read and saw at the time. They had a lot of like big games as compared to like Nintendo's more simplistic, like artistic style. And PlayStation went, we're going to try to make these console games accessible to people on the go. And maybe that was ultimately their downfall in the sense that one, either people don't want to do that, or two, it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what the cost was when it came out. I want to say it was $250, which was about the correct price of a normal console. So I think that was one of their lesser things. I think the DS at the same time was $150,
Oh, okay.
maybe $199. It was definitely cheaper.
Yeah.
That might have been added to its downfall. Not enough games,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
They had a Metal Gear game on there.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Peace Walker was on
Oh,
there,
right.
which I hear is like one of the best Metal Gear games ever. And I
never
wish
play
I'd
it.
played it. I still want to play it because I think they eventually ported it to like
I believe
PS3
so.
or 4 or
Oh,
something.
cool.
hmm
And I hear it's like basically Metal Gear 5 light in the sense it's like a prelude to it, and also it's like in terms of like gameplay and stylistically and stuff. But yeah, I always hear that was like one of the best Metal Gear games, and I was just like, I don't have that console, I can't play that.
That's how they get you, or try at least.
Also, yeah, another Kingdom Hearts game was on there, Birth by Sleep, because Kingdom Hearts hit everything.
Oh yeah, and they were on one of the 3D games, the DS games. I mean,
Just stick to a console, dude. Why you got two different? Why are you doing Nintendo?
I told you,
and-
man, they went
and
everywhere.
Dreamcast and what is happening over there?
I'm surprised they haven't done anything with Microsoft yet.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's on Xbox now, so that wouldn't be surprising if they do some dumb shit.
Yep.
Make one game PC
Right.
only.
Man, if Kingdom Hearts 4 is PC only, I will riot.
It would be the dumbest shit on there.
So in the midst of all this, eventually the Vita comes out, which I think is actually got a lot of potential still. I know that they added some touch controls, and the big thing I feel like is the whole remote play. With the home
Yeah.
consoles, you can leave your PlayStation on standby mode or whatever, go out of town, and then boot up your console from wherever you are with your Vita and play. I'm not sure if it's played like working through the cloud. Is it going to be a little bit slower? I'm not really sure how that works.
I
but-
think it's honestly based on your like Wi-Fi, so it depends on how good your signal is.
Oh wow.
From what I can remember, because I had a cousin who either through a Vita or eventually Sony like it made it capable you can play it through your phone or an iPad. They had a remote
Oh,
play app,
snap.
and I remember my cousin, we would be playing GTA Online, back when GTA 5 was still fun to play. But he would be playing it on his phone at a hospital when he was on break.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
Yeah, and so like the Vita, like I kind of feel bad for it because it kind of came and went. And like I don't know if it was like a cost thing or if it was just bad timing, but like it looked really good from what I saw. And it was that console that had the Uncharted game on it, which is like a brand new story that was just on the Vita, and I never got to play it, and they've never ported it, and I doubt they ever will at this point.
I remember one of the marketing things with that game, you can climb by like either touching the screen or touching the back of it, and like where you want to climb, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, because I remember like the whole back of it was basically like a touchpad, and you can use like your fingers to kind of like maneuver some shit. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Unfortunately, the Vita had the kind of the same story as Dreamcast, and it was a timing issue basically. When it came out, it was like it kind of stuck in this weird place where newer, bigger games were coming out, and then also old stuff was kind of on the way out. 3DS was really wildly popular still at this point. When this came out, and then they were trying to get a bunch of first-party developers to put games on there, and they just weren't able to. A lot of that got stalled, so that it was kind of that situation where you have this thing, they no fucking games to play, so no one knew what to do with it.
Right.
And then at that time when it finally started getting that No Man's Sky-esque kind of thing, where like, oh, well, now it's fun to play. Everybody had already dropped off.
It's gone.
At that point. Right. So, it was unfortunate. So it was considered a commercial failure. Like, it failed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Also, Vita? What's Vita? What is PlayStation Vita?
PlayStation Life, bro.
I guess.
PlayStation for life.
Then they should have just called it PlayStation for Vita.
I hate it. I hate it so bad.
So let's see. What else is there? I think now we're in the more or less modern day. You got the new titans are of the mobile games are phone games, That's what the kids are playing. I remember when I first got my iPhone, one of the first things I did was find a way to download Pokemon on it.
Yep.
Which was awesome.
That's the only thing I miss about having an iPhone.
I also got a couple of like first party iPhone games. Like there's some like soldier fighting game. I can't even remember what it was called, but you're like swiping the screen left and right to dodge and stuff.
I feel like we can't talk about mobile games without talking about Angry Birds and Fruit Ninja. I mean, those two were like staples of mobile games.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're so right.
I used to swipe the shit out of those games. Yeah, it was before we got like really deep into whatever the fuck we have now.
Now you can play Fortnite. You can play Fortnite on your phone.
It's crazy.
You can play Fortnite on your phone against other people that are playing Fortnite on their console or their computer, which is wild.
On my $2,000 computer.
Wild.
While this man's playing on his fucking iPhone 6. That's ridiculous, dude.
So I can think of one other great iPhone game, but I can't think of one other better person to talk about it with than my good friend Devin Lee. Here he is now. Give it up to Devin Lee. So Devin, do you know what the best iPhone game is?
League of Legends.
Jetpack Joyride.
Battleheart.
Battleheart. That's right,
man.
Oh my god.
Battleheart is that's actually like the thing that makes it not a mobile game is this. It's like a real game. Like you actually pay money for it, and then you don't have to stuff isn't hid behind paywalls and stuff.
Yeah. That's the good stuff. It was just you spend a little bit of money on a game, and it's all there for you. That's something that we should probably talk about.
Yeah,
because most mobile games are like free to play, but you gotta pay money to have fun. Or something.
I feel like a lot of them are have a really good concept, but they're either stuck, all the coolest stuff is stuck behind paywalls, or there's an ad that pops up every 5 minutes. And a lot of them are just enough to get you looped in, but then the gameplay isn't actually complex enough to really keep you going. It's just an attention grabber. So those are some of the simpler ones, but there are really good ones out there. I think Battleheart is definitely one, an RPG one. And then there was these ones I played where they were tower defense games.
Oh, I love
Plants
good tower
vs.
defense.
Zombies.
I forgot that was a genre for a while.
Plants vs. Zombies, yep.
Plants vs. Zombies was a huge mobile game. Yeah. I had that one.
Yeah, I feel like in the beginning they were all pretty great, but then once free to play became a model,
you found out how you can exploit
everything kind of got fucked. Yeah,
and that's my thing. I fucking hate mobile games. All of them. Hate them.
Uh-oh.
Can't stand them.
You can't just write 'em all
Brian's
off.
going off.
None of them are good because they all exploit. It's outside of like maybe
Okay,
Fortnite
just because
and
there's
Call
a
of
couple
Duty.
bad apples doesn't make the whole farm bad.
They're all bad.
Brian
apples,
is
except for
ready
maybe
to
two.
commit genocide against mobile games.
What is a game in 2022, a mobile game right now that you think is a good game by itself?
Battleheart.
I got a list. I got
That
a
game came up forever ago. No, they're all just so exploitive. Like Devin was talking about, where it just comes down to the point where it gets you a little bit roped in. Pokemon Go was fine for a while. I didn't have to spend money on that. It just unfortunately got boring after a while. And I think part of that is because most games aren't made with a lot of content in mind. So a lot of them either time gate
Also,
them.
a game based on where you have to go outside during a pandemic kind of dies.
Yeah, that's fair. But most of them you have to buy gems or coins or slots or something to make the game that to keep, like you said, it's just gambling in a trench coat is when it really comes down to, where people actually have like addiction issues and like lose everything over stupid fucking slot machine games or Candy Crush or whatever the fuck. And it's like, fuck that, man. Just give me a good normal game the same way that I could play on a handheld device, the same way I could play on fucking PlayStation 4. I'll pay real money for it. I'll give you the $20. Stop doing this bullshit where you give me fucking.
There's like Final Fantasy games that you can pay like $10 to $20 for, and it's the remake. It's the game.
Oh yeah, that's just ports and stuff though.
Yeah,
which I'm fine
there's plenty
with
of ports on there
because that's like a real game.
That's like an actual game.
Yeah, they just all cost money. There's not going to be any good free game.
No,
sure, you got to make money.
That's going to be good. You
I
got to pay
beg
for
to differ.
The gameplay of the free ones isn't ever like complex enough, and you find yourself like farming more than you're doing the gameplay just to unlock more stuff rather than like actually playing it because it's fun, and that's like what the model that a lot of them run on is like Clash of Clans. I remember I was really big into Clash of Clans back in like 2013 2014.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
Yep.
the gameplay itself was trash. Like you literally would spawn your people to like attack somebody else's base, and it wasn't very fun. There wasn't there was some strategy to it, but like once you got to a certain point, you couldn't really raid anybody's base because everybody was so good. But you would be checking in every day to unload your gold reservoirs and stuff, just to accumulate more resources so that you could like upgrade your base. And you just like can't. You're not really doing anything other than like checking in, farming, and that's basically all you're doing.
Welcome to the psychological aspect of dopamine farming. Video games are great at that.
That's basically where I'm trapped with like 4 games right now.
Yes, it's dopamine
That's
farming,
Oscar's whole MO.
and it's done very purposefully to give you the most amount of dopamine as quick as possible, and then cut you off so that you'll continue to spend money because you want to get that hit again. And that's
but I
basically
never
what those
give
games
them
do.
money because I'm not a pleb.
Right, and it's like it's not actually fun, but you get the the bling. You did this and this and this. Here's an achievement. Here's some stars. This and that. And you're like, oh, that feels kind of nice. Let me get that again. And then you do this boring, mundane task again. And then boom, you got it again. It's like, oh, shit. That's why you see the ADHD cracked out like Fortnite games and stuff like that. Every time you take 2 steps, 27 things pop up on the screen telling you did a good job. And it's like, this feels awesome. They told me I did a good job because I mined this fucking ore over here. And it's like, that's all mobile games have just become so like conspicuous about it now. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're just like, hey, you can get more fun if you give us money right now.
Yeah.
And people are like, okay, sure.
So I don't disagree with that, but I think that there is hope because there are games that cost money, which I am very okay with. And I think there's this newer thing that came out maybe a year and a half ago. At least on the iPhone, there's the Apple Arcade, which you can. It's like a subscription service, which I'm not super excited about. But you can all the games on there. Their whole model is games. There's no like in-game purchases. You just pay the subscription, and then you can play any game in there, and not have to worry about whatever things are going to cost, or what you don't have to worry about money, which is what we hate about these free-to-play models. That they're free to play, but they're always talking about money. That's not fun.
Right.
Do you think Apple Arcade is going to last? I
think so.
Don't hear much about
so.
it, which is
you don't hear much about it, but I think it's it's what everybody on paper wants.
Right.
Actually, I read a statistic not long ago that I am probably going to butcher, and Apple is actually in the past couple of years the biggest grossing console or video game consumer. They're making the most money out of any other
because of the App Store.
Because of the App Store, because of in-app purchases, and because of the Apple Arcade.
Wow. I guess that makes sense.
Because people are playing Fortnite through the Apple
Right.
Arcade. Or
I mean, how
their
much money
iPhone.
did like Candy Crush make?
Candy
you know?
Crush?
Right.
Yeah,
So-
all these
Oh my
in-app
God, yeah.
in-app purchase free to play games and the arcade. So it's not going anywhere. Hopefully, it'll just get better, and free to play
Yeah.
will get a little bit smaller. But I think it's the future.
Yeah.
I
for
got
sure.
a list of mobile games that I'm playing right now, and they're
And
all
I'm sure I
free.
hate every single one of
Let
them.
me get my pen out. Hold on.
I have been playing Injustice on mobile. Granted, there's 2 versions of it.
Oh
The first
my
one probably came
God.
out in like
remember
2013.
playing
The second
that.
one probably 2017 or something like that.
That's a fighting game, right? I don't know. That sounds
Yeah.
clunky.
Basically, the
Right.
controls are you tap and you swipe,
Yes.
and that's all you do.
Oh, okay.
It's
It's
nothing.
It's not really a fighting game.
At this point, I don't really play it. I just click on it once a day, and that's it. I give them no money. I do nothing. That's probably the longest mobile game I've played is Injustice.
That's
But
wild to me.
another game that's actually like
Brian said that's wild to me.
I'm disgusted, honestly.
free to play,
I'm
and that's
not
actually not
surprised,
like
really.
horrible to play free, is Gwent,
Yeah,
a
oh,
Witcher
word,
card
word.
game spin-off. That's actually like fun to
From
play.
Witcher.
But I could see how it could be pay to win. I haven't gotten deep enough into the game,
Mhm.
but there are options to pay for cards to get better cards and more cards, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But it is still fun to play free,
Mhm.
and you can still win a match free, basically.
Yeah.
And I think they
Yeah.
do a good job of balancing it out, so it is still fun to play. That's always fun. But another highlight is they have Call of Duty on
Call of Duty Mobile was pretty fun, but I had more fun when I just got an emulator and put it on my computer.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
If I had a controller like for my, my whatchamacallit, my phone, maybe that would make it like more fun because then it's like a real game. But man, I know that you can't do it so much with touch controllers, but I hate
Yeah.
them. They
Yeah,
feel
touch
very
controls are
clunky.
still pretty
Mhm.
clunky. They're not great. But there's that. Like basically what Devin said about Clash of Clans, there is a Lord of the Rings version like that I've been playing lately. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Gondor is dying right now as we speak, actually.
Oh, no.
The dwarves are killing us because they're evil. But anyways, yeah.
Evil dwarves.
I mean, basically, yeah, you build up your castles and your lands, and you have commanders. Literally, the only reason I got it is because the Lord of the Rings skin of Clash of Clans. I've never played
Oh,
Clash of
God.
Clans,
Sounds
but I'm
great.
assuming it's the same shit.
I'm sure it is.
Sounds
yeah.
like I
so
could waste
funny.
some time on that.
Yeah, basically. And then, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, they're making a full-fledged Kingdom Hearts game, sort of in the same style as like a Genshin Impact, which we haven't talked about at all, but it was a huge mobile game when it first came out.
Oh, that's pretty big.
It's also a gotcha game, which is a very popular type of Japanese game that is extorting you for money.
Oh, really?
Yes. There's a lot of cards. You collect characters and stuff like that. And if you don't pay, you're not going to get any good characters. Yeah, it's big on.
Wow.
Yeah.
It looks fun. I almost downloaded it a bunch of times. I think it's also on Switch.
It looks amazing. Yeah, it looks like, oof, wow.
It looks like a Breath of the Wild, but more anime,
Yeah.
which sounds great.
All the ones where it's like about unlocking characters, like that's like Oscar, when you say Injustice, like I played that
Dude,
Injustice
man.
game too back in like 2014. And eventually I realized I was like, I'm not really enjoying this like gameplay, but I really want to get Batman. So I like kept playing.
Yes.
And then as soon as I
That's a
got
gotcha
Batman,
game.
I was like, okay, I'm done. Like
1,000,000%. Yeah, absolutely. I was just like, I just want Superman, and then I'm done.
You're microdosing gambling. That's all you're doing. Like, just go play
You,
slots.
you gotta know what you're signing up for, though. As long as
But
you know.
I'm not giving them any money.
I
I
know.
refuse to give any mobile game
You're
any
giving them
money.
your time.
I mean, yeah, I'm giving them a lot of time. Wait, probably more time than I should.
Well, let's be clear. We can pay for our games, but these in-app purchases is what we're not
Yeah.
here for.
yeah.
No, absolutely, yeah.
The more you pay
No,
for a
I'm
mobile
not
game
paying
upfront, the better.
$100 for gems in a mobile game.
It's when it's like pay like quote unquote win that I don't
Yeah,
really
pay to
like things
win.
like that. Like I'm fine with like, Fortnite and stuff like that. Yeah, if you want to be fucking, I don't know, Sasuke from Naruto.
Rick and
you can-
Morty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pay for skins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Great clarification. The pay to win has got to go.
Yeah.
I can just
pay
not
for
spend money
skins
on
or
it.
pay for
Like,
cosmetics. That's totally
Yeah.
cool.
right.
I mean, I used to play this one called it was like a turn-based game called Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And my brother played that too.
Oh yeah.
And he followed this like YouTuber that like was like big into it. And that guy spent like thousands of dollars and like kind of to show people like if you actually pay for like, to unlock these characters or whatever, you had to pay thousands of dollars to get that done. So it's like they loop you into this like cycle. But yeah, I think the more money you pay up front, for a game on your phone, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, just like a general rule, just don't pay for any in-app purchases on mobile
Yeah.
If
stuff.
you got that kind of money, just fucking Make a budget. Don't go bankrupt over this, man. It's just Candy Crush. It's not that serious.
Donate it to the Fourtress of.
Yeah.
Yes. Make a monthly subscription.
Let's pivot a little bit away from I feel like we could go into a whole episode on mobile games. It sounds pretty deep.
And atrocity.
So aside from mobile games, there's the somewhat still new Nintendo Switch, still king of the mobile consoles. Nintendo is at it again. They got the Nintendo Switch.
They got Mario. They got Zelda. They got all the shit you've had for the past 55
I thought you were going to say
years.
they got Mario. They got Mario with a baseball bat. They got Mario playing soccer.
They got Mario in a cart. They got Mario by himself. They got Mario at a party.
Mario
they
and
don't
Luigi.
care.
Toad's
But
Day.
honestly, I think this is the best of all worlds because you can play on the go, but you can also dock and play on the big screen.
Yep.
You can have one controller, so to speak, but still play with two people. It's so super versatile, and like we said, they have all the Mario games. You know what I'm saying? The back catalog is endless, and to top it all off, they're finally brought Smash Brothers on a handheld device. It's what we were all dreaming about playing Game Boy as a kid. You can finally do that.
The amount of times I used to bring controllers over to my friend's house to play N64 because, everyone always had like one or two. No one had all four unless you were super rich once again, which I had no rich white friends. And it's just like so cool to like now you can just like we did that. Like I think we had rented out like a space. I hung out with Trevor one time. Yeah, Oscar was there. And someone just brought a Switch and we just played like 8-person Smash because you can just do that off of this one little tiny thing.
It was amazing.
I will say a hot take. I think that Nintendo Switch is one of the best systems to ever come out. Period. I think it's up there.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's just a normal take.
I don't know. I think it's up there with PS2.
Love the Switch.
Yeah, it's up there with PS2 and N64. Where it comes to like, Nintendo DS and like Game Boy Advance stuff like that is a lot of nostalgia. But I think that like this is the most innovative. It does the most. I think it'll be held as a king for a long time.
I honestly think that like the Switch 2 might be like perfection for them in the sense that it'll be like 4K HD on the go. Because once they get the on the go aspect ratio up, because I think that's like their biggest limit, that and like their capacity to play games, big games, because they got shit like Doom and The Witcher 3 on there.
Right.
And it's like, how are you going to play The Witcher 3 on a Switch? It's like they just need to bump it up a tiny bit.
I really want to.
It looks like ass, I'll tell you that.
That's what I'm saying.
Bummer.
And like they're so close to it. And I imagine like their next console, whatever it's Switch 2 or the Nintendo Jigaboo, I don't know.
The Switcheroony.
Some other name, something, I don't know. That's when it's going to be like, holy shit. Or, I mean, even though like right now they're pretty damn close to perfection.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying this new Zelda game is going to be on the Switch too. So I'm just excited to see what's going to happen with their future. I totally agree that this next device might be like, pure fucking gold.
We'll leave it to Nintendo. They'll probably fuck it up and put out like some weird shit with a weird, I don't know, like a hula hoop for a controller or some shit.
They're going to make you bring out like a dance pad or something wherever you go. So you got to use your feet. So you're on the bus with a fuking pad out and you got to like fucking run.
Like in the office, like the Nintendo Switch is great, but I feel like people on the bus aren't embarrassed enough.
Yeah, right?
How can we make them look stupider?
Let's get like a heart rate monitor that they have to insert into their chest.
Just make the controllers real goofy.
But yeah, like the Switch, like you were saying, like it's got Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. And I imagine that Breath of the Wild's probably like their biggest, most complex game that they've made. And it probably, like pushed the system to its limits.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what is in the future for that system. But it's also hard to compare the Switch to like as a handheld because it plays normal ass games, It's like, so it's crazy. It's incredible.
It's their PS5, PS4.
You finally have those third-party blockbuster games coming out on all consoles. And it finally is actually not exactly the same as every other console, but comparatively so. Like not like the Game Boy Advance where it's just a completely different fucking 2D game.
And I'm glad they're kind of going back to that because like things like the Wii was always like, oh yeah, you can play Call of Duty or you can play Call of Duty Wii, and it's like it's not even the same fucking game,
right?
And it's like now you're back to like doing like
it's
the
motion
N64.
Controls.
Yeah, you had to like use the fucking. Oh god, it was so bad, dude. I encourage everyone to play that game to figure out how to not make video games. It's an atrocity. But yeah, they're going back to like the GameCube era things where it's like GameCube games were like same level of game as PlayStation 2, Xbox games. And I'm glad they kind of found that spot.
But now
again.
you can take it on the go.
Right.
I can happily say I probably played my Switch handheld mode way more than I played it on the TV. Sometimes I would just play it on my couch, just laying down, just
right when the TV's right in front of you.
This is somehow just better.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, now that you have a baby coming, that's going to be the only way you'll ever play video games.
Yeah, that Switch 2 needs to hurry the fuck up. Which brings us to one of our last devices, the Steam Deck.
Now,
PC on the go, sort of.
PC
on
interests
wheels.
me, but not because I don't go anywhere, and that's the big thing, the big draw to it.
So I'm super tapped out. Is this actually out yet, or are people just getting early copies of it?
It's out. It's just been on back order for a while, so a lot of people are just getting them like this month.
Right, got it.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing. But yeah, it's essentially a PC on the go. It's a powerful device, and then you can play a lot of like big games.
People are playing Elden Ring on this, and it makes me very jealous.
I mean, it's not the best, but they're playing it.
I would definitely play Elden Ring on the go.
People like me that like I love what Nintendo's doing, but I've never been like a really big Nintendo fan. Not that their games aren't great, but it's just I don't know. I've never really been a big Mario person, so it's like that doesn't appeal to me as much. But then something like this is like what would appeal to me if I was a person looking for mobile gaming and still want to play the type of games that I enjoy to play. So
this has arguably the biggest catalog of games in any mobile device. You have your whole Steam library that has games from God knows when, all right there.
About 300 of them bitches.
That's crazy.
So
I guess for me, it's like I don't know if I'm jaded or not, but I'm always still been just attached to playing a big tempo game on a TV with a controller in my hand. You know what I mean? And I think it might just be like me personally. But I like the idea of having a PC on the go, and it's only like $300 or something.
Yeah, the base version is $300. I think it goes up to $600,
which is like pretty fucking cheap if you compare it to like buying like a top shelf PC.
Yeah, PC is going to cost you like $1,000 plus to play like Elden Ring. So $300 compared to $2,500. Like, yeah, okay.
I wonder, do they have like an HDMI cable that you could connect your Steam Deck to like a television?
That I do not know.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be a game changer.
Yeah, doesn't it? You could play it on the go and more. It's wired, but you could dock it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like Steam's always been somehow like secretly ahead of the game. I mean, like whenever they decide to make something every decade or so, because they had games like Portal and Half-Life, which were incredible, and then they made the Half-Life VR game, which I hear is like fucking incredible and like one of the best VR experiences you could ever have. And now they have this, and so it's like they're constantly tweaking away at things.
Valve, right? That's the company behind every all this.
Yeah.
I always forget that Valve is behind Steam. It seems somehow like that seems unfair. Like
because they have a monopoly over it. Yes,
is that not a
Epic Games?
They can't make games and software and hardware and a library.
A lot of people try to challenge them and say that they have a monopoly and try to make them give up that spot because it's basically how you play video games. There's a lot of storefronts now with Epic Games Store and all that stuff, but when I think of playing games on my computer, I boot up Steam. Like I hate that I don't have all my games in the same place, and that's a place that really all games are. So it's kind of funny. I did just read that the Steam Deck will be having a separate dock that will be coming out, I guess, soon, trademark, that can reach up to 8K resolution at 60 hertz or 4K resolution at 120 hertz.
Oh, wow.
Being way more powerful. So that'll be your HDMI plug into your... Yeah, so that'll be a huge game changer. So you dock it,
and then you have to need like an additional controller, or...
So they'll probably try to sell you their stupid controller. I don't know what it's called.
Well, like
anymore.
most PCs these days, you can kind of program a console controller to it.
I play with my PlayStation 4 controller. I'll play like Halo and stuff with that. So
neat.
I'm sure if you can do that. Steam's very good about
you play Halo with a PS4 controller?
My Xbox controller broke, and I'm not spending $65 on a new one.
That seems like blasphemy.
Sacrilegious,
that seems
right?
like sacrilegious.
I was about to say, you're going to go to Xbox hell.
Yeah, honestly. But
I'm not bust through Brian's door like, get over here.
Controllers cost too damn much now, man.
It's true. They cost basically as much as games now, and they're breaking half the time.
Exactly. Mine broke real quickly, and I was like, nope, there's no way I'm doing this again.
So where do you guys think the future of handheld games is going to be in 10, 20, 30 years from now?
I would imagine in 30 years, you can play a AAA game on a console. I
Well,
imagine in
you
30
can
years.
you can indeed today play AAA games on a
Well,
console.
no, I meant like they're the same, and like when it comes to like the fidelity and how they run in 30
on a mobile
years, you can get it
device?
on like a handheld
You
device.
think in 30
okay.
years? I say give us 10 by the time we can do
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like in 30 years, they better be at that point.
Dude, in 10 years, we're all going to be on the metaverse, and it's going to be like Ready Player One, right?
I
There's
think
not
in
gonna be any
30
handheld.
years, it's hard to imagine. But yeah, I feel like Devin's on the right ticket. Like the whole metaverse is right around the corner, honestly. I don't know what that looks like, but
No one does.
the like we didn't talk about the Oculus Rift, but that's that's technically tied to a PC, but I feel like the Oculus and metaverse are going to go hand in hand for sure.
I mean, yeah.
So if Oculus comes out with like something that can just attach to your phone and join the metaverse and Facebook and all this
Can
stuff,
you imagine
like,
someone being in fucking VR in the middle of the street? That sounds so dangerous.
I can 100% guarantee that that's going to be a thing.
And at least 3 people are going to die from it.
In 15 years.
There's going to be a lot of people hit by buses.
Yeah, I feel like that's
well, there's like augmented reality. I feel like that is the near future, especially with the
I mean, we tried it
metaverse.
with Google Glass. Google Glass was onto something with that. It just wasn't feasible at the time.
We weren't
quite ready for it.
There wasn't enough going on.
Also, it was still giving people like headaches or some shit, you know?
VR still does that for me, but I guess I'm just weird.
I mean, VR is going to hit a point. I don't know how far it's going to get. In 30 years, maybe we are in a Ready Player One. I just don't see it. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's think specifically. Ready Player One does not sound too far away, but let's think specifically with being handheld and on the go, because this could go in a lot of different directions.
Mobile phone games. Mobile games are the biggest revenue of just gaming in general right now, because
that's true.
The most casual people will play are gamers at this point. The biggest like portion population of gamers are mobile
my grandma
gamers.
Spends bank on Candy Crush.
My mom loves it
for
too.
years. For years,
on, like,
she's been
level 3,000 and something ridiculous. I bought her a tablet for it.
Oh no!
Because she just loves those games so much. She feeds into them so hard. I hope she don't spend no money on that shit. She claims she doesn't.
They are.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be something with that. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't think they're going to stop being exploiting when it comes to money, because it's just
money driven.
It's too fucking
business
easy,
is always going to be business,
right.
so
which is unfortunate. But I'm trying to think what it could look like. I know it'll be better, but I don't know if it'll be full-fledged games.
I mean, we've seen like games with like Genshin Impact or like the new Kingdom Hearts, where they're starting to look more like console games. But I think the biggest thing they need to fix is controller.
Mm-hmm.
How to get controls on a screen better. That's not terrible.
That's my thing. I feel like in about 30 years or so, the controller is going to be obsolete, and it's all going to be
eyes.
It's all going to be our body, or like some like fingernails that we put on, or like some gloves.
We're all going to put contact lenses in and just control everything.
We're going to be physically interacting with the world that we're gaming inside of.
100%. Y'all remember the Power Glove?
Yeah,
the Nintendo
absolutely.
Power Glove is going to be like
Glove,
that. You can take out a glove and just fucking.
if it's not Nintendo, it's going to be.
I hope it looks
Oculus
exactly
or
like the Power Glove.
Yeah. I also think that Bluetooth is finally going to come out with a fucking like tooth that you put on your
God,
a chip you put on
like
your
an
tooth.
Implant.
Yeah, so you can talk to your friends whenever you want.
I hate all of these ideas. Right now, they freak me out.
Yeah,
it's all going to get liquid. There's not going to be any consoles anymore. It's just going to be cloud based everything, or just connected to your phone so that you're always tapped in.
I mean, yeah, mobile games are going to go as our phones go. So like. Handheld games in general, like, so if our phones start doing stuff like with holograms on the wall and stuff like that, then mobile games will do, or handheld games will go with that, or however, or if they start putting them in your hand or like in your eye or something, or glasses, then they'll do that.
I don't want anything implanted in me, please.
But yeah, wherever, I just think follow the phones, and that's exactly where it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
The first mobile game, handheld game we talked about, Game & Watch, came out in 1980. That was what, like 40 years ago, which is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We came a long.
We've come a long way, but I even think like now, like even with consoles, the advancements are a lot smaller than they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
They were definitely exponential in the last 20 years, and I don't think they'll be exponential in the next 20 years that we see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know, I think you guys are sleeping on this whole metaverse thing, though.
No one knows what the fuck metaverse is. It's just advertisement
Once we
right
get
now.
the first successful clone, that's when I'll be like, all right, I'm out. We're fucked.
They're cloning sheep every day. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about like human beings with emotions. I'm not talking
hello,
about
friends,
Bambi and
ethics.
sheep over here.
We don't clone humans because it's not ethical.
Okay, guys, the future of mobile games is Blade Runner 2047.
Just like a dystopian future where we're all
plug in
fucked.
any sci-fi movie of the past 10 years.
Yeah.
We turned into clones real quick.
Oh God, that's terrifying and
Yeah.
hilarious. I wonder what it'll be called though. I hope it's just either the Power Glove or Minority Report. Just that. That's the
Just Minority Report. The Nintendo Minority Report.
yeah. The Nintendo Tom Cruise.
It's gonna be trademarked by one of the billionaires, so it's gonna be like the Musk glove or the Bezos.
Oh no, God.
The Bezos beret. I don't know.
That's probably true.
Yeah, it's all berets.
Oh, that's funny.
Bezos sock. I don't know. But yeah, they're gonna be in your head, and like it boots up. It's gonna be their face be like, "Hi," like.
Oh God! No, the first
God.
thing's gonna be
It's
a
me.
5-minute unskippable ad.
Sue's gonna have a face like Cortana. Oh God. Oh, that's amazing. So unless anyone has any more notes, I think that's about it. That was a lot of fun.
Just remember that early 2000s, Brian stole Game Boy from a kid.
He's still trying to hunt Brian down.
I'd like to thank all the people out there who believed in me for that seamless effort.
That was
effortless,
beautiful. That was beautiful.
Segue into Devin joining the
Wait,
cast
what do you mean
again.
joining? I was here the whole time.
Smooth like butter. It was like he was always here.
I'll let the world know that I do not have any mobile games on my phone. Not a single one.
You're a brave soul,
I
Brian.
can show you guys. I'll show you
I
after
don't
this.
believe that at all.
And I took that shit off. I don't have
You
any
were
games
talking
on
about
my
how
phone.
much fun Call of Duty was. You play it and then delete it. You download a couple every night and then delete them before everybody sees it.
I just couldn't do it anymore. Once I realized that I wasn't actually having fun playing these games. I was
Once
like, I
they
don't want
make
this shit.
a Sonic mobile game, that's when Brian will be on it.
There is one, but it sucks. I've tried it. It's awful.
You should try League of Legends, the Wild Rift.
Yeah,
That's pretty fun.
Wild Rift is
I'll
fun.
shout the Kingdom Hearts one when that comes out. Hopefully it's not pay to win or pay to play to
I
exist.
bet you it will
every
be.
2 levels. Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun. Handheld Games. We'll see what the future holds. Should we move on to our final segment of the week, guys?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Which we like to call Free for All, title pending. This is a segment, listeners, where we can kind of do whatever we want. We can talk about our day. We can recommend something. We can talk about life. We can take a nap. We can rant. We can do whatever we want.
Life.
It's free for all. Who would like to go first?
I can go. Guys, I got to tell you
Devin,
something.
you've been hyping up this free-for-all for
I
a
know,
minute.
Yeah, this better be the
it's too
best
bit.
damn free for all in the world.
I hyped it up too much.
You slowly came out with just now with like, I guess I'll go.
Okay. Last night, we went and saw, which it was the first time I've been to a movie theater and not just gone to see like a Marvel or Star Wars movie in probably 2 to 3 years.
Holy shit, that's commitment.
I know. It's like
to Disney,
it's like,
I
wow,
guess.
giving my money to something other than Disney. I don't understand what that is. Okay, the movie, guys, The Northman. That shit
Oh.
was
Of course, Devin saw
You're
the
right. That
Viking
seems
movie.
This looks
so
pretty
far
cool.
up your alley.
it was
I did
Yeah.
not know that was a real movie. I thought it was streaming only.
well, I was looking up all this stuff about it after because it was so like it shook me so much.
It looks really
And it's
good.
by the director is this guy, I think Robert or Roger Ebert or Eager. And he directed The Witch, which was like, and he also he directed The Lighthouse
that
as
was
well.
that was pretty crazy. Okay.
The Lighthouse, the one that's like black and white with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. And he basically combines like history with like mysticism, right? So like the Lighthouse one was about like seafaring mysticism of like legends of the ocean kind of thing. And The Witch was like, what if the Puritans were right about witches being real? And like, fear of the frontier kind of thing. And they're always very artsy and like very well shot. Well, this one was like his biggest budget one yet. And it basically was like a Viking revenge story. And man, like it was just brutal and like well done. Like the music was really good. Apparently the music, they like only did like instruments from like, ancient Scandinavia.
Oh, I love
The
that.
cinematography was really good. And apparently they consulted with like history professors who were like they were very, very meticulous about it being historically accurate. So it's the most historically accurate Viking movie I've ever made. But they also throw in that like mysticism of like Odin and just stuff like that. So I don't know. I had a really good time watching it. But like it was so like intense that like people like when the credits rolled, everybody just kind of like like looked around and was like, I guess we leave now. Like, because everybody was kind of shook. Like when it ended, it was like, oh, well, that was a lot.
That was depressing.
Yeah. So it was fun. Like I thought I'd be all tapped out on the Viking stuff because like all the shows and different forms of media that exist for Vikings right now. But like it was above all of them. Like it was really good.
Nice.
So you would recommend it then?
Yeah, I think we should cover it in the main topic sometime.
I'm down.
Very nice.
I've seen a couple promos for it. It looked really, really great. For some reason I didn't know that it was in theaters though. I thought it was like on Paramount
I thought it was like out
random.
a while ago because I thought it was scheduled for it a long time ago. But like it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it just came out this weekend or something.
Very cool.
Getting good ratings. I'm looking at it right now.
I hope I didn't hype it up too much, but like, I mean, I think there's a general consensus that it's a very good movie.
I mean, you probably did, but it's all right.
I think it's going to be good. It looks promising, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like I like the cast, and I really like Anya Taylor-Joy a lot. She's really good and shit. So yeah.
Damn, he's ripped.
Yeah.
Very nice, man.
Very cool.
Well, I'll go next. I got I'll follow you up with another great movie that I recently watched.
Ooh.
From the comfort of my own home. And thank goodness I did watch it from home. It's something that I missed in theaters on purpose
Oh,
because
I know
it's
what this
fucking
is.
3 hours long.
Yeah.
It's The Batman.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, motherfucker. Yeah, it was great to finally watch. Me and my wife had to take lots of breaks because it was so long, but it was great. I had a great time watching it. I caught up on the podcast that I missed to see all of your guys' takes, which was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had a good time watching it. It started off really, really fucking scary though. Like we had to really like prepare ourselves mentally. The opening was so heavy and dark.
Yeah.
And like I knew it was going to be a little dark and a little heavy, but
And
it was
literally
like,
dark. It's hard to see sometimes.
well, I didn't find it hard to see. I think maybe did you guys only watch it in theaters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like at home it was it was definitely dark, but we turned off all the lights. We like got into it. But it wasn't like the Game of Thrones episode when you literally couldn't see anything for
that was just bad.
That
They
was,
didn't do a good job with that.
That was just, they pushed it way too far. I'm all for like underlighting things and making things moody, but I didn't really feel like I had any problems with it being too dark. I really liked the way it was shot, the way it all felt and everything. It was a really cool take on like a edgier Batman. But I did have some grievances. I felt like he should have had some cool gadgets. I did like the smoke, smoke in the at one of the scenes where he like pops the fire extinguisher, but he should have had some fucking smoke pellets or something for having such a beefy looking suit. And they could have like at least explained that he just kind of built this suit out of nothing. It doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
They just kind of said he's been doing this for 2 years, but his suit looks fucking amazing. But all he does is punch people.
But he don't got no shit.
He's got no gadgets.
I mean, spoilers for the Batman, but like that was one of my biggest complaints about it was that they built this super grounded Batman, but then he takes a bomb point blank to the face and he's fine.
They didn't even want to put any dirt on his lips. Maybe that's in his contract. It's like, whoa, guys, read the contract. I don't get dirty.
But then he has to use like this realistic wingsuit to fly, and it's just
I did not hate
weird.
the wingsuit. I thought the wingsuit was pretty cool.
But he straight up ate that like train track.
He
and
eats
just
it.
gets up and walks away.
It was a cool
He should
sequence.
be dead. He should have
The way
died.
this man should have no ribs.
That man was flying like 90 miles an hour.
Homie is the Batmobile. That thing, he takes a beating.
I mean, that shit was funny how he just like smacks into the bottom of that thing and then that bridge and he just like gets up and he's like, oh,
He's
I'll
just
that
fine.
hurt a little bit.
I'll
And he
just
just
walk
like
off.
stumbles away. It's like,
You have to get up and run home. I don't know if you've ever been like a kid and you've gotten embarrassed because you've like tripped over and hurt yourself or something. So you're just so embarrassed you just start running just to get away from the situation.
Like,
It was that kind of
you ain't getting up from that.
Oh,
you ain't getting up from that, bro.
Oh,
on,
that's
man.
funny.
No, that movie was 3 hours of Batman getting bullied. I loved it.
No, it was great. I thought Zoe Kravitz was amazing. I thought Colin Farrell was hilariously amazing. Edward Pattinson, is that his name? Did I say that right?
Edward Pattinson, Robert
Edward
Pattinson.
That can't be right.
He plays Edward.
That's Star Wars,
and
Star Wars. That's Twilight, right?
Yeah.
It's late.
You're getting it all over the place, man. I don't know
Listen,
what.
It is way past my bedtime right now.
I like Edward Pattinson though. That works.
Edward
Robert
Pattinson from
Pattinson.
Star Wars.
I mean, yeah, Edward Pattinson totally works. Yeah, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, totally it's fine. Yeah.
I thought he did great. He was a great Batman, but he needs to get a fucking job in.
He needs a Bruce Wayne.
He's great, but he needs to go to work, or he's about to get busted.
Yeah, very much so. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you finally got to watch it.
Yeah, I was actually waiting for George Clooney to stumble in. Like, weren't there rumors of George Clooney popping up in there? Am I tripping?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm glad he didn't though.
I thought who was one of the
That would have been really
who was
weird.
one of the other Batmans from way back?
Michael
Michael
Keaton.
Was he supposed to be in there?
Keaton.
Yeah, it was Michael Keaton.
No, he's gonna be in the Flash.
The Flash. That's what you're
Oh,
thinking. I
that's
think isn't there a
it.
couple Batmans in the
Damn
Flash
it.
movie?
This whole fucking time. So the
Michael Keaton's just gonna roll up and be like, "Hey, man, what's
so
going
the,
on?"
the Flash is gonna have multiple Batmans, right?
Yeah,
Damn.
If that movie ever comes out.
yeah. If
Right,
it ever comes
because
out,
of
Ezra Miller
lots of
keeps
things.
fucking up.
Maybe not now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller needs to stop getting arrested.
Well, yeah, that's my free for all. I
Real
was
awesome.
quick, where would you rank that Batman movie?
Ranking.
Is it higher or lower than The Dark Knight?
The Dark Knight was better, but it was better than the third Dark Knight Rises or whatever. I would throw it up in those categories. It was I really liked it, but it wasn't better than Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Second question:
True.
does it need to be 3 hours?
Nope.
They don't have to be 3 hours.
I can't think of anything I would cut. I enjoyed watching it from home a lot.
The motorcycle part. They could have cut
That's
a lot
fair.
of
Oh yeah, the driving scene could have been cut.
You could cut 5 minutes out of
the sexual
sex
tension
scene.
motorcycle scene was
Yeah.
real weird. I could have done without it.
I loved the slow pacing though, and I loved the music. His motif was one of my favorite things. I don't know if you guys paid attention to the music. It was like one of these really popular movie chord sequences.
It sounds like Darth Vader's theme.
Yeah, it's the first two chords of Darth Vader. I think you see it a lot in superhero themes. I think Avengers does it, but they took it into like a more whimsical thing. But it's just the first two chords. It's like a major chord to a minor, or it's a minor to a major, and then it just goes back and forth. So it doesn't really it just kind of leaves you hanging. But when you put it in context of Star Wars, they add a couple other things to make it feel like it's going somewhere else. And then in Avengers, it gets even happier. But just leaving it on those two chords is like a really nice, like suspenseful.
I can't unhear Darth Vader at this point every time.
Definitely. It's definitely very Darth Vader-y for sure.
What is the music that plays all throughout the Batman movie? It's like three notes.
Which
It's like,
one?
Don, 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 or like something like that.
Yeah,
I can't
that's
remember.
The new one?
Yeah, no, it's just like constantly going, like the whole movie, like every scene.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're referring to, Alex?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's his
Okay.
it's like most of the music, but it's like his, like whenever he's doing something really
Yeah.
fucking cool, it's like
Yeah.
his motif or whatever.
Whenever he's
Yeah,
beating
that
up
was
somebody
cool.
for selling an eighth on the side of the street.
Yeah, so good.
Justice.
I am vengeance.
I'll go next. I got two things real quick. I'm still in New York, so I saw another show. My
Hell
sister
yeah.
keeps winning the lottery.
Nice.
So I saw a show called Paradise Square. It's a new show, like roughly this year-ish. And it's probably gonna get shut down soon because not a lot of people are seeing it because it's got a really obscure name. But
Aw.
it's about, without spoilers, it takes place in Lower Manhattan in a place called the Five Points. And the bar itself is called Paradise Square. It's called Paradise Square because it's like kind of like a haven for people to kind of live in harmony. And the two main groups in the plot that hang out there are Black people and Irish people. And so like the plot kind of interweaves between those two groups. And like there's big events and like there's a draft because it's the war, and one of your main protagonists is like threatened that he's going to get drafted because that's what they did then, but they don't
Mhm.
draft any of the Black people because that's what they did then. But yeah, so it's pretty good. It's a lot that could be cut from it. It's a little too long. There's a lot of plot points because the cast
Mhm.
is massive. It's probably like at least 20 people, but I mean, it's good because it makes the bar feel very lively. So they nailed that aspect of it. And the woman who plays the main character has two incredible show-stopping numbers. Like they're fantastic. She got a standing ovation at one point in the middle of the show after one of them. But yeah, so it's pretty good. If you have a chance or you win the lottery, the tickets aren't that expensive at the lottery. Go see it. Like I didn't have a bad time with it. And it sends like a nice message of like people living in harmony. It's very future forward in like a post Hamilton world that we live in. It's pretty cool though.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Second thing I will say is I watched a show on Netflix that's kind of become a trend. It's a show called Old Enough.
Oh man. Oh, this show is so good.
I've seen this. I've seen the trailer for this. I want to watch it.
And it's a Japanese-based show where basically they send children, like mainly like 2 to 4-year-olds, out into the world to run errands, just everyday errands. And it's the best thing in the world.
What on earth? I don't know anything about this.
Do you guys remember
I saw the trailer.
the most extreme challenge competition at MXC? It played on Spike TV when we were in high school.
Yes, I think I've seen it.
It's kind of like that, but with children.
But for kids,
And instead of crazy obstacle courses, it's just real adult
It's
life.
like, go get eggs.
I gotta watch this. This sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And the best thing about it is that each episode is like 12 minutes long. It's amazing.
It's beautiful.
And it's like, I wasn't sure if this show was going to get canceled because I was like, is this child abuse? But
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. Because like every episode ends in a happy ending.
That's
and like
good.
That's good.
no child is harmed or anything like that. I mean, they go through like normal like childhood trauma in the sense that like they'll cry whenever it's like they drop something or something. But like they're never in any danger or anything like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And every episode ends like happily. But also it's just like so insane. And it also shows just like these kids are fucking smart. And like 2-year-olds are fucking
these kids
smart.
in a different country are very smart.
Yes. These kids, yes, are very fucking smart. And like these kids are just like 2-year-olds are going out into the world to the grocery store to buy like milk and bread and apples and stuff. And it's just like,
Yeah, we couldn't.
Whew.
We couldn't.
no, if this was in America,
I can't even do that
we'd
now.
be
I'm
fucked.
30 and I still can't do that. So,
So we just watched one episode, and the kid like gets the ingredients or whatever, and he's halfway home, and then he thinks to himself, he's like, "Oh no, I forgot the curry." So he goes back to the store, gets the curry, and my wife is like, "Damn! If you forgot something, you would come all the way back home and tell me that you forgot." And then we would just not have that food item. I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, you're right. That kid's way better than I.
But these kids, man, it's like, it's crazy. There's one episode in particular, because I'm like 10 episodes into season 1, and there's one episode that is both the most traumatic and hilarious and amazing thing I've ever seen.
oh, did they
And it's
drop an
involving-
item?
Yes. It involves fish and apples,
boy.
and when you see it, you'll know what I mean. But it's just the most amazing thing, and by the end of it, you're rooting for this kid. I
Oh,
mean, you
yeah.
root for them all the time, but it's like you fucking got this kid, and they're like, oh, it's
like I don't know if you
crazy.
guys ever watched like just a toddler try to do stupid shit like pour juice.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a tragedy, just terrible. You just don't have the. I guess you
The
don't have the
dexterity
dexterity
points.
yet.
They put
No.
all their stat points in cuteness.
And cute charisma.
Yeah, that and luck.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
They
Well,
need some
I was on the
dexterity
fence about
points.
watching this, but I'm definitely watching it now.
You should, yeah, because I mean the episodes are so
Yeah.
short, so just watch 2 of them, and I think you'll be hooked. They even like cut to the parents at times, and they're like so emotional.
Aw.
They're sometimes crying, because then they're like worried because they can't do anything about it. So they're like wondering, oh, I hope they're okay out there. And it's just like, oh, yeah. But it's a great watch, so yeah, check it out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice. I'll definitely watch that. I can go next. I'm being Devin because Devin always says that when
Thanks,
it's the
You
last
Brian.
have to.
one. I have to go
I'm
next.
justice.
It's my time.
Okay, it's me.
So I've been, life has been life. So I've been a little stressy, little down the dumps, not down the dumps, but a little lower than normal. So I was like, I want
Oh no.
something to, cheer me up, raise my spirits, whatever. So I decided to play a video game that I've never actually touched before because I was just like, I just want to get that little dopamine drip. You know what I mean? Do some little tasks, get my little
You
fun.
playing them mobile games, Brian?
Fuck no, it's not a mobile game, but it could be a mobile game. And it
So I
probably wouldn't be that
downloaded
bad.
every game that's for free on Apple. Apple's
I got
Store.
Apple Arcade, and I've been loving it. Hashtag ad. I started playing Stardew Valley, actually.
Oh,
I don't know if
nice.
you guys ever heard of that
Oh.
game.
Yeah.
And you
Um,
were just shitting on Minecraft.
No, I mean, I always shit on. I'm not shitting on Minecraft itself. Minecraft itself, I'm sure it's fun. But making a movie, if you made a Stardew Valley, actually, Stardew Valley at least has a story, so it'd be a better movie. Fuck Minecraft.
That's fair enough. Probably.
Anywho, yeah, I mean, it's just a game about basically just making friends and tending to a farm and doing little tasks and getting little things for your little tasks. There is a random combat aspect in the game, which is kind of weird that I don't. I just like to pick my little flowers personally, and then make my house look like Margaritaville. But other than that, I couldn't care less what I think. But I don't know. It's just been a fun game to just kind of like, I don't have to think about a deep, in-depth story. I don't got to learn all these crazy mechanics. You plant your little flowers, water them. You tend to your stuff. You get some vegetables. Go talk to Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank wants to be your friend. You buy him a beer. Bought the man a beer. Now he likes me. You can date. You can get married. I haven't done any of that yet, but it's a fun little game.
Nice.
That's cool.
I mean,
yeah,
really
it
cute.
sounds like
fun.
very Minecraft. I mean, that was one of the things I liked about Minecraft was that it was just very tranquil. You know?
Right. It's nice to just, I don't know, put on a little bit of music. Even the music in the game is very nice. The sound effects are really nice. The little plucking noise when you break stuff and pluck stuff is kind of cool. It's just soothing to just not have to think about, I'm not having to save the world or fight gods or, I don't know, be sad in Last of Us or something like that.
Yeah. Just, hey, an actual stress reliever
Right.
for a game instead of
What
like
video game should
most
be,
games.
right.
It's like I get more stressed.
Because that's the thing. Most games I even play are either like super heavy, story heavy games or multiplayer games, which are both can be stressful in their own right. So
Right.
Definitely.
it's nice to take a break from that kind of stuff.
That's cool,
funny.
man.
That's awesome, man.
That sounds real fun.
That's it. We did it. That's our show for the week. We did it again
It's like,
somehow.
don't sound so surprised. You do it every week. Come on.
How did we do it? You can email us, listeners, at thefortressof@gmail.com. Fortress spelled F-O-U-R. Feel free to email us any questions or feedback or recommendations or anything like that. Also, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Fortress of and The Fortress of YouTube channel. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Go into a movie theater that's playing The Northman or Sonic, two very different movies, and shout at the top of your lungs. Do whatever you need. Spread the word. We're here.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to follow me, you can check me out on Instagram. My name is Peterson Films, or you can check out my website to see my cool cinematography. It's petersonfilms.com.
Boom. You can also follow me at, I'm doing a jigsaw puzzle right now as well. I don't know. My brain is doing weird things. You can follow me on facebook.com/ITZ by the way, or Instagram.com/ITZ_by the way. Or you can also follow me on twitch.tv/by the way X for extreme.
Just go see The Northman, all right? Don't follow me on Instagram. Just go see The Northman.
So follow Devin at The Northman.
It's got the prettiest scars
Go
card.
see it. You get to see Willem Dafoe's like butt cheeks
Oh.
in some.
Okay, so follow
So-
Devin at Willem Dafoe's butt cheeks.
Just saying, it's just real good.
Thank you, Brian, for the art. Thank you, Alex, for the music. Devin, thank you for being here as usual. Jackie, thanks for helping edit the podcast every week. That's the show, everyone. Happy holidays.
Woo,
and
happy
put a
holidays.
coat on. It's cold out there.
Mhm.
Man, I'm sweating my. Never mind.
And are we cutting?
Are we? Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you here next week in another
I'm
episode of The Fortress of.
I thought we were done.
He said, are we cutting?